are listening to the Gamecasters.
Natalie and Jeff and Ryan are the Gamecasters, and they do a board game show, inboxes and nooks and games and top 5 lists, and sometimes there's fart jokes.
Welcome back, dear gamers, to episode 78 of the Gamecasters podcast. We're a geriatric 78 episodes old at this point, you damn kids, and like a geriatric 78-year-old, there are awful things coming out of our holes at a constant, unpredictable rate.
Oh.
As I look back, I'm reminded of all the good times we had when we were still in the throes of youth, tricking everyone into thinking we were wholesome and professional, a show to be respected. Well, now the filter is off, which again is a metaphor also applicable to the elderly. We're pulling out of the driveway and not looking both ways. We're leaving our left blinker on and going 30 and a 55. We're wearing diapers and eating dinner at 4:30. Then it's lights out by 9.
What's wrong with you?
What do you mean?
Do you want to try that again?
Yeah, okay, I'll take it again. Welcome back, gamers, to episode 78 of The Filthcasters, a show so raunchy and disturbing your ears will need therapy. I'm Ryan, the maestro of manure, and with me is Natalie, the nasty, and Jeff, the trash board garbage, as we throb, pulsate, and 12-inch ever closer to episode 100.
Stop. That's too much.
Ew.
Okay, let me try one more time. Welcome back, sweet. Yeah, pulsate and throb and 12-inch ever closer.
I'll be ever closer.
Welcome back, sweethearts, to a lordly romp through the tangled tapestry of our souls.
No, that's weird.
Okay. All right, one more time. Welcome back, you basement-dwelling, neck-bearded...
No, okay, no. Okay, somewhere in between all that would
Okay.
probably be just fine.
All right. Hello there. Let's begin.
Okay.
In today's episode, I'd like to discuss what Jeff and Natalie have been up to. Then we'll opine on some games we've been playing, and then we'll do a segment or two before we play a game, ending the show with a top 5 list. Bada binga, bada booma. Sound good to you?
Bada bing,
Yeah,
bada
I
boom.
gotta do that top 5 list.
Oh.
We'll be right back. And we're back.
And welcome back. So what's up with you, Jeff?
We're watching TV again.
What TV are you watching
Okay,
again?
let me tell you.
Okay.
The new season of Dexter is out.
Yes,
Ooh,
watching it.
we're caught up on that too.
There's only 2.
So
3?
only 2.
Yeah.
3 will be like tonight.
Tonight, yeah. Okay.
So which is Sunday.
Yes.
We didn't
And-
realize that was the case. We thought all 10 were out, so we were like gearing
Oh,
up last
nope.
night to like
I was
watch
like,
them
let's
all in
watch
a row.
more Dexter, and he
I
was
know.
like,
I was
"There's
like,
no
it's
more."
over. It's only 2.
I know it kind of makes it's like a good and bad thing because it's
Yeah.
not going to be over so fast.
Yeah.
True.
But I'm
Also-
getting senses of old Dexter.
Yeah,
of like
agreed.
original
Yes.
Dexter.
These people
not
don't
the
age,
last-
by the way.
No.
They look the same. The actress who plays Deb
Looks
looks
the same.
exact. I'm like,
Michael
did
C. Hall
she
looks the same.
age?
Yeah.
He looks exactly the same. I guess.
they got-
I guess if you look at a picture of him back to back against Dexter from 10 years ago, you
Sure.
can kind of tell.
Yeah.
But I was expecting it to be more drastic.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
they're not
oh God,
like
it's been
not
a
like
decade.
Paul Rudd level, but it's
Right.
Yeah,
still-
right. He's still
He's looking good.
aging a little bit. Right.
And so I'm like loving that because I didn't really love the way it ended, but Dexter is like one of my
Agreed.
favorite shows ever.
Agreed. Yeah,
It has,
I agree with you.
Season 4 I think might be the best season of like any show I've ever watched.
Was it the Trinity?
Yeah, that
was
was the
season
Trinity.
4?
Oh,
Okay, I thought that was season 3.
And that was just
great.
amazing, and I'm happy to have it back. I thought the first episode was so cool. I'm not going to spoil anything, but just that it just like eased back into it and like
Yeah.
And then I was like, yes,
We
this
love
is
it too.
awesome.
Yeah, we
We love it already too.
We're watching. So you have Showtime then?
Yeah.
Okay, we watched one episode of the show called Yellow Jackets. Have you seen that being
no,
advertised?
but I've seen the
I saw
advertisements.
that.
Okay.
The picture,
Yeah.
it was creepy. I didn't
Really
like it.
weird.
Ooh,
Okay, the premise is that
like a
there's
tapestry
this,
into our
Oh, wait,
souls.
but that's the one
Yeah.
with Christina Ricci?
Yes.
Okay, we saw like a preview.
So the premise of the show is that there's this soccer team, this high school girls soccer team that's very good.
Are they
They're
the
going
Yellow
to-
Jackets?
They're the Yellow
Okay.
Jackets. That's the high school mascot.
Right.
And they win all these games and they're going to nationals, which I don't really understand what that means in high school terms. Usually you just win like state. But anyway,
Yeah,
they're going to
right, that's
nationals and they're like on this plane and the plane crashes.
Oh, geez.
Okay. And
Ryan should
they
watch this.
yeah, so well don't maybe not.
Okay.
So the plane
They're
crashes
flying again.
and they're in like some of them survive and they're in the middle of this forest. Okay. And then it starts to flash back and forth between when they're in high school and kind of the troubles that they're going through. And then it flashes forward to some of the
Now
women.
we're eating each other.
Well,
What?
Wait.
For real?
Out?
no,
Oh!
not that one.
Oh,
No.
Those are two very different things.
So it then flashes forward to modern day where they're women and they have careers and they're sort of kind of separated and it starts to there's this mystery of like what the hell happened in
Yeah,
this forest
who
for
ate
19 months while they're
Whoa.
They
there.
were there for 19
Yes,
months.
before anybody found them. So it's creeps into
lived?
like maybe a weird what is going on in this sort of forest. Not like Lost where there's like polar bears and weird
right.
stuff, but like
what do they do
savages,
to each other? What
right?
happened?
Like so I don't know a whole lot more than that, but that's like the premise of the first episode.
Okay, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, that sounds way more interesting than I thought.
Yeah, it's interesting
like
and
a
weird
scary
and a little like creepy to start with, but it's
Yeah.
something I think we'll probably keep watching.
We're probably going to watch that then because
And
we're
then the
looking for
last
new
show,
shows.
and the last show we're watching is on Hulu called Dope Sick.
Oh, okay.
Are you watching that?
No, we haven't
No.
watched that.
Okay, it's the creation and of like OxyContin.
Cotton? Okay.
And it's basically how they sort of lied about what Oxy was, and it's a true story. So it's the true story, but with actors.
Okay, so it's not,
It's
a,
not
documentary.
right?
Okay.
And it's disturbingly good. Where it's you get angry at the show for how much they lied to people and
Yeah.
about what
Yeah.
this drug was, saying that you wouldn't get addicted to it, and less than 1% of people get addicted to it, and just the lies that were portrayed, and how then the FDA was paid. It was just like this unraveling story of Oxy, and it's disturbing. I would say like if you maybe had family or something, maybe don't watch it. It might be too personal for some
Yeah,
people.
Yeah.
right.
But we're watching. It's really
What led
interesting.
you to
and
that show?
It just popped up on Hulu, and we were like, let's give
Let's
it a try.
try it.
It gets great reviews on IMDb, and
Oh,
we were
great.
like, okay, let's check
Let's
it out.
do it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that's disturbingly good.
Is it an actual show? Or
Yeah.
is it like a mini series and then it's over?
I think it's going to be like 10 episodes and done.
Okay.
So they're going to tell the
like a
story
miniseries
in
kind of
like
thing.
10. And so those three things are, I like them so far. It's hard to recommend all of them because there are only a few episodes.
So you said
but
they
I'm really
use
liking
actors.
them.
I don't know why this is confusing me so much.
Yeah.
They use actors, but it's not fiction. It's all real stuff. They're just
Yes.
using
Yeah.
people to portray these real life events.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
We watched, so back right when COVID started, they were in the middle of, I think it was season 5 of Billions. And then they just stopped
It
right
just
in the middle of the
stopped
season because of COVID, so they couldn't film anymore. And so
Yeah,
they just
we were really bummed about it.
they just put out the rest of that season. And so we watched the rest of Billions. And
Part 1, Part 2. Breaking
Yeah,
Bad,
part
that,
two.
and they just wanted to make more money, so they split up the last
They
season.
split the
into
last
two.
season up into two. Yep.
and then
Great show,
I
by the
just
way.
watched.
Have you watched Billions?
No, that's Showtime.
You
now.
will.
Well, now we have Showtime,
love-
so we could
You
watch it.
should.
should.
That.
All right.
It's
I
a
think
great
that might
show.
be. No, I'm not going to say that. It is one of the best shows you'll see.
Yeah. But here's
It's that
another
good.
thing about
it's that
it.
good. It's really,
It's-
really good.
A lot of the stuff, it's very good and interesting, but it goes over our head because it's all about like
Hedge funds.
like the stock market
I know nothing
and
about
all
that.
that
Yep,
stuff.
same
So
with
there's
us.
a lot of times where like at the beginning of the series we would like Google
What they were talking
recaps
about.
of the episode, like explain to me and like so I can understand like what happened here. And then it
I'm
was
sure
also,
there are
like,
podcasts
really
that talk about it too, or
interesting.
something to
Yeah.
like listen to and read, because those are people's actual lives, probably.
And they
people live those
there's
lives.
no like getting into it. They just jump in, as if you are in a hedge fund
Yeah.
operating, these crazy
Right.
accounts.
Yeah, it's not like teaching
they don't
you
assume
about
that you
Yeah.
don't know.
But there's
they
some
assume
really
you know.
good characters in it, and it's a very good show.
I mean, Giamatti is in
Paul
it.
Giamatti
and-
is one of my
and-
my
Damian
favorite
Lewis.
and
actors
he's
ever.
not the best in the show.
No, he's-
and so that's what I mean.
yeah.
That's how good it
Surprising.
is. Yeah, Damian
Yeah.
Lewis, I think, is even better.
And
Okay.
my favorite character is Wags, who was in
Wags?
Breaking Bad.
He was in Breaking Bad.
Okay.
He was,
the nerdy guy.
nerdy guy.
the one that was like he was like the assistant to
The
Walter.
regional manager.
Yeah, like the
Yeah.
regional manager.
Remember the guy who did?
He wasn't in very long.
like
yes,
a
He wasn't
I
in
do
very
know
long.
him.
He's in
Yes.
all the
I
great
know
shows. He was
him.
also in The Wire.
But he's like
Yeah.
completely opposite of that.
He's all
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay.
The show is
Billions.
great. I
It's
think
a great
I think it's a great show that you
Yeah.
guys should watch. We took the kids. Oh, did you have something else you
I
want
was
to
going
say?
to say I also watched Made, which I thought was really good too. It's not the most like upbeat show.
Devin watched some of that.
Is it the second most upbeat show?
She said it was it was real, and it was a little hard because it was so real.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
at the first episode, I remember
it reminds me
was,
of Handmaid's Tale.
It was still going on, and I'm like, all of this is happening, and it's only the first episode. I was like, oh my god, this poor girl.
Like what kind of stuff? Can you give me like a little example without
So
spoiling anything?
yeah, so okay,
Like she really has to poop all the time and
The-
just can't
the-
find the bathroom.
The show opens up where like
Relates. It's relatable.
it's basically like she is in a abusive relationship, so she takes her like 3-year-old daughter and she like sneaks out of the house to get away, and she has nothing, and so she's basically trying, and she didn't have a job. He was very like controlling.
This is her dog.
She had no
I'm
money.
sorry, I'm being stupid. Go ahead, keep going.
Her boyfriend.
I know.
Come on.
So
Don't be
it's
dumb.
basically, I mean, the gist of it is, she's trying to like make it on her own.
Yeah.
Get away from this guy.
Yeah, like restart her life with
She
nothing.
gets a job as a
Right.
maid.
So she becomes a maid.
She's
then.
trying to get like assistance from the government. She's, there's shelters involved and blah, blah, blah. But like, it's
assistance
like
do you
one
need?
of those shows where like every single thing goes wrong for her.
Yeah.
It's like one thing after another. And it's like, oh my God, this girl can't catch a break,
Right.
But it's also really good. And I find I really liked the actress.
It was
in it.
like one of the more popular Netflix shows on
So
Netflix.
even
I
though
think.
it's
It was
not
on
like,
that. number 2 or 3.
not like
you wanna
upbeat,
watch.
like feel good, like Ted Lasso, it is kind of just like, oh man, but it's also so good. I couldn't stop watching it.
It's like a
And you're,
yin
like,
and
rooting
yang for
for
Ted
her
Lasso,
and-
probably like a black and white cookie.
It's the yang to Ted's yin.
Ted's yin.
Yeah.
Ew.
Ugh.
Natalie.
His yin.
was a-
Leave Ted's yin out of this, Natalie.
Leave his yin
Gross.
alone.
Have you guys heard that there are new episodes of Tiger King available?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it, but I will.
I wonder.
Yeah.
There's no way he's out of prison, right? There's no way.
I don't know what this new season's about. I just saw on Netflix.
I don't even think it's new season. I think you know what they did with Making a Murderer when they just had like new
Like
episodes.
follow-ups.
I think that's what it is. I think it's just
Well,
some new
stupid
episodes.
Carol Baskin was on Dancing with the Stars or something.
She was.
Yeah, Dancing with the Vaguely Familiar. Yeah, that show.
Ew, gross.
That's so
Yucky.
good.
Why?
She went home fast, I think.
I'll bet she did. Nasty. So we took the kids to the movies the other day to see this movie called Ron's Gone Wrong.
Oh my God.
Have you heard of that?
It's about Ron Swanson.
It is
It's
basically a children's movie with the hypothetical love child of Baymax from Big Hero 6 and Wall-E. It's like if these two robots made love and had another little baby robot.
What's it called?
that's-
Ron's what?
Ron's Gone Wrong.
Ron's gone.
So here's
I don't like
the
name of
here's
that.
the real
bad name.
high level premise. It's a stupid name. Here's the high level premise. This tech company creates this little robot
Robot.
that's basically for children.
Okay.
To make friends.
To make friends.
Help
with.
them make friends.
Okay. So
Connect
they basically take them to school, they take them everywhere in their lives, and they do everything for them. And it's like hyper technology. It's basically like a cell phone, but it's this little robot that does all this stuff for you. Okay. And there's this one, the main character of the movie is they can't afford one. So he is the only one in the entire world, essentially, that doesn't have one of these. So finally, he complains enough because he's getting bullied basically for not having one. And his parents, his dad and his grandma basically kind of buy him one, but it's like one that fell off the back of the truck. And so it's kind of broken.
Damaged, yeah.
And so that becomes Ron.
But he's not like
But he's not a normal one because he's broken, so he's kind of all
all of
fucked
the
up.
programs aren't like in him properly.
And he,
so
like-
he has to like teach Ron.
But he's the best.
How to-
He's the best robot.
He's hilarious.
Heartwarming.
It's really funny.
Not only is he hilarious, there was at least 2 times where Ron did something, the robot, and I was like, that's Ryan. I was like, that's exactly what Ryan would do.
It's called Ryan's Gone Wrong.
Close enough.
I would like
Yeah.
look at him like, that's you.
I would definitely suckle the teat of my mother Baymax as Papa Wally tucks me into bed every night if I'm that love child. Because that's exactly what it was. You're watching this and you're kind of like, this is really funny, but it's totally a rip of Baymax and Wally together.
Yeah, but it was good. I
It
mean,
was a
there's
really good movie.
There's a lot of kids movies where we're just like, yeah, that's definitely for
Yeah,
kids.
a lot of kids movies suck.
Yeah, but this one I was entertained.
Is this like? Was it
one's
Disney?
good.
Would it be on Disney Plus at some point? Or?
You know, I don't know who made it. It's definitely it's definitely like I don't think it's not Pixar, but it's in that kind of zone.
I just looked up somebody there. Zach Galifianakis and Ed Helms do some
right.
of the voices.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
I like
yeah,
them.
there's
They're
some,
funny.
There's some, yes. Yeah, you could tell Ed Helms right away for sure. Is that Galifianakis? Is he Ron?
Zach Galifianakis is Ron.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Ed Helms
that's
is Graham.
Right. Ed Helms is right. Also, to take it down a couple notches, we had the week of sickness hell run through our house.
Yeah, I'm
just
lucky
in the
to be here.
last.
Well-
Seriously,
Yeah,
it's like
seriously.
just
You're
over
lucky
now.
that I'm here. Oh, wait.
Yeah, thank you, Lord Madigan. I feel like we desecrated some sort of ancient burial ground by accident or something and have been cursed with the plague of 1,000 annoyances ever since. So here's the timeline. 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, my ex calls me and says, I have COVID. So I go and pick up the kids. Everything's fine until Friday morning when Scarlett throws up a few times. Blech. Blech. Uh-oh, she must have COVID, we think, because, her mom has COVID. She's all of a sudden sick right afterward. Uh-oh, she's got COVID. So we keep them out of school and go get them all tested. Now, 3 COVID tests to kids below 10 years old.
A
And you
nightmare.
Was
then
a
did you get the
fucking nightmare.
the brain swirling one?
Yes.
So you got brain swirler. Okay, so you went
We
all
got
the way up in the brain.
all the way up. They pulled their brains out, showed them to them,
Yeah.
watched and laughed as they cried, and then shoved
Tested
them
it.
back
It
up
was bad.
painfully.
Okay.
Yeah. So it went insane. We actually had to physically restrain Scarlett.
Yeah.
And she was screaming at the top of her lungs. Any other child that was close by was like, "Oh my fucking god!
Yeah.
Get
Yeah,
this damn
I'm
thing.
not
We gotta
doing
go.
that.
Listen to that."
Pack the diaper bag
I
up,
think
bitch. We gotta get out
at
of here.
least Scarlett was last, so the other two had already went.
True, which was also rough. Anyhow,
Yeah.
so that night the test results come in because that we went to this specific place because they give you the results same day, even though it's not rapid. It was a
Yeah.
PCR or
Yeah, the
whatever.
PCR was there.
Negative for Cameron and for Scarlett. Scarlett's the one that threw up, so we're like, okay, cool.
that's good.
Lexi's was inconclusive.
All right. And did you guys get one just in case or no?
We did not.
At that
Not at that
point,
point.
no.
Not at that point. We did not. So Lexi's inconclusive, and it says insufficient genetic material.
Not enough brain.
So they didn't. They didn't
They
pull
didn't
all
get
of her
enough
brain out of
brain.
there.
They
It wouldn't.
didn't-
It wouldn't budge. It was too big. Her
But
brain
we
was too
didn't
big
want
to
to
fit out
tell
that hole.
Lexi because that'll give her just a head trip.
Also, because she is by far the child of mine who's the most crazily worried about everything.
Yeah, so we're like, if they don't have it, she doesn't have it. It's fine.
So I called the
most
school,
likely.
sent it to the
That's right.
school, and I said to them, "Here's what we got. What do you want us to do?" Like,
Yeah.
Cameron and Scarlett's are negative. Scarlett was the one sick. Lexi and Cameron have no symptoms. Lexi's wasn't inconclusive because she may or may not. It was inconclusive because they didn't get enough material. Do you want us to go back and have her tested before we send her back? What should we do? And they were like, "No, it's okay. You can send them." And the school even said, they're like, "Our policy is their kids are not even required to have a negative result because they were around their mother. So they're not, you
they're
could,
exposed, yeah.
they're like, we thank you for doing
Yeah.
that, but you could send them anyway. So send them." Okay. So like I said, we told the school what's wrong. The next day I get a call from the school at this is a contentious time. We'll say it's like 10:30 in the morning. And they're like, "Cameron's in the office and he's sick. He's complaining that his stomach hurts." And
Great.
so I'm like, "Oh my God." So I pick him up, bring him home.
Like, does he have to poop? Can he
I
just
don't
go
even-
poop?
Yeah.
pretty much.
I don't even think I'd walked in the door. They're calling again. Lexi's sick now.
Oh my god.
So I'm like, "What the fuck?" So they were like, "Do you just want to get Scarlett too?" And we were like, "Fine."
Yeah.
So sent Natalie. Natalie picked
You're
up.
like, "No, I
Lexi
want you to
and
call me in
Scarlett.
45
Yeah, call
minutes.
me in
And
a
she's
half
not
hour,
feeling
and then
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So we bring them all home. By the time, let's see. So Natalie takes blah blah. I'm just reading because I wrote this down because this is a timeline that I have to read through. That evening, they're all fine. Okay, so they come home and they're
Cameron
like
comes home,
stomach
everybody
aches.
poops.
Yeah, like
Right.
he was
It
just
was-
like, my
it
stomach
wasn't
hurt for a
really-
while, but he was okay.
Lexi just had
Lexi
a headache.
had a headache.
It wasn't that bad.
So we're kind of like, okay, maybe this isn't a big deal. In the middle of the night of that night, so everybody's fine. In the middle of that night, Natalie wakes me up. I don't feel good.
Oh, I thought Natalie like, "Hey Ryan."
Yeah.
Not that kind of wake
Natalie
you up.
wakes me up. Yeah, the one good thing that happened this week.
The kid slept so well that we got some time to ourselves.
So Natalie wakes up, stomach's hurt, she's throwing up now.
Gross,
I'm
Natalie.
like, yeah,
throwing
It
up's
was
the
gross.
worst.
Right. It was disgusting.
I don't throw up. Like, that doesn't
I
happen
don't
to
do
me.
it.
She's going number 3 all over the toilet.
Oh,
Like,
Kids
I
are
don't-
all still
yeah.
fine though. Okay, they're all still fine, so they go to school the next day. However, Lexi is complaining in that morning about being really, really tired, and we're just like, okay, you're just
And the day
tired
before she-
because we're not like it's just the same thing, right? So we go get Natalie a test. She gets tested.
brain
Negative.
brain swirler.
Yep, the brain swirler. Negative.
Other
Did you cry?
kinds?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's there's
rapid is not
at
as
home
bad.
rapid that you don't have to go all the way up your nose. You just go
okay.
about an inch, a little bit, and then you
Gotcha.
swipe up top. Your
and
nose.
that's what. Well, so I'll get to
Yes,
that in
I
a
had
minute.
the same one. The kids. We went to the same place.
Okay.
So-
like every time.
Natalie's test is negative, so we're like, okay, cool. Pretty much everyone is negative. This is just sick adjacent, right? So I go pick up the kids. Lexi gets in the car and she just looks like she's just, I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "My head hurts really bad." And I'm like, how was lunch? Did you eat your food? And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh boy." So we get home. I check her temperature, 102,
oh boy.
which she had likely had
gosh.
all day.
Yeah.
She's like, "I started shivering right after lunch. I was just shaking." And I'm like, "That's because you had a fever, honey."
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to tell somebody.
She might not know. It's hard. It's hard to like.
Well, the
identify
reason
or
she
wanna
didn't
leave or
the
not
reason
wanna
she didn't
leave.
tell us was our fault.
Yeah.
Because earlier we got their test and it was negative, and they were all like, why did we tell them this? We basically told them like, oh yeah, because they were when they were like, oh yeah, we need to come home because my stomach
we
hurts.
didn't-
They
we
were
weren't-
fine.
yeah.
So we were like, okay, they're just kind of playing this up. So we told them, if you guys keep telling us that, oh, your stomach hurts, we're gonna have to get you another test. Because
Right.
now it
And
seems
so
like
she didn't want to.
and so she was like, "Oh, I don't want another test, so I'm
it was
just gonna
basically
fucking tough
to
it out."
to see if they're actually sick or if they were like fine. But really, it just made Lexi, who was actually sick,
Anxious, who's
not
already
tell
anxious
us
about it.
because she
Yeah,
didn't want to
oh,
get a
man.
test.
Yep. And so now I'm feeling like horrible
then we're
amounts
like,
of
"Oh,
guilt about
man."
this. And so she has a fever, which is completely different than Natalie and Scarlett's. They just
Yeah.
had stomach issues.
We
and
just had a
Cameron.
stomach bug that
So
lasted
now I'm like,
12
and of course,
hours.
Lexi's the one who was inconclusive. I'm like, so I have to get her tested
Yeah.
again. So,
And then she was freaking
oh
out
my
about
God, she was
that.
freaked because the whole reason she didn't say anything in the first place was because she didn't want to get the test.
Yeah.
And now she has to get the test, and she had to suffer through school all day. Oh, so I've now been to the testing facility 3 times in 5 days. So we get Lexi.
But you didn't have to do any of them.
I didn't have to do any of them,
Yeah.
thankfully.
What do you think about
He had to
Yep.
drive me because that
In your
morning,
face, everyone else.
In your face, everyone.
I felt like lightheaded, and I was like, I don't think I can drive myself.
Yeah. So
man.
the test results came back again, finally, negative. So all 4 of them were negative.
So all the tests we had were
Thankfully.
all negative.
Lexi's fever is now gone. All the stomach issues are good to go. And then Thursday night, Lexi wakes me up in the middle of the night telling me she has a sore throat. Now, she sounds like the fucking crypt keeper. Like, it's
in the middle of the
like that. And it's like this tiny little, like, 8-year-old nightmarish demon spawn talking to me from the body of Lexi, you know? And every time she breathes, it sounds like stepping on a pile of dead leaves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh, like, what the fuck is going on with you? All like, this is out of nowhere. And it sounded like she couldn't breathe. And I was like, I might have to take her to the fucking hospital. Because she was like, she was freaking out.
Yeah.
You know, she was like,
Yeah.
she's like, what does this mean? Do I have coronavirus? Am I going to die? I think I'm going to die. Will I die? And I'm like, you have to calm down. Yeah. She was like shaking. It was really sad. I gave her some medicine and she ended up falling asleep, waking up perfectly fine. Friday is then the day, the 10-day quarantine is over for their mother. They go back to Heather's house on Friday, and everything is okay.
Man.
It was just like, it was so crazy because we had them for an extended period. Then they're all just like, all of us except Ryan, just like taking turns feeling sick in some way that none of it is related to COVID.
Right.
You know, and so it was just like, oh my God.
But COVID has this way of making you think that every single
Right,
sickness
so
in
we're
the
just
world
constantly
is
getting
not there.
tested.
It's all COVID.
Right. And then we're just like, it just felt like one thing after another. We're like, okay, at least today they're going to go to school. We'll get a little break during the day. Nope, they all
Wrong.
come home.
Wrong.
Okay, nope, now today they're all
That
home.
sucks.
Wrong
Then,
dong volantes.
Lexi's still home, you know, and it's just like, oh my God,
Ron don
this
wrong.
is not ever ending.
Yeah, it was wrong. Yeah, it was awful.
It was crazy.
In the meantime, we're eating everything in sight. You know,
Yeah.
when you're like sick and stressed, you're just constantly eating everything. It doesn't really matter for freaking Natalie, who no matter what she eats looks like she was chiseled from a mountain.
No.
And I'm basically a mud puddle that became sentient. And so I feel like I've gained a few thousand raindrops over the last week, and it's time to purge. So we're trying to eat a little healthier,
definitely
notwithstanding
getting
Taco Bell
Taco
today.
About
We'll
to
be
be here any
right back.
second, actually.
Yeah.
Also, Christmas is coming up right around the corner.
Yeah.
And I'm getting excited. And do you know how? It's not because I'm like caring about Christmas music or anything like that necessarily. It's all in subconscious. I was making buttered noodles for Lexi the other day, and we use the spray butter. Do you guys have that
It's
spray butter?
beginning to look hot.
Basically,
Yeah.
I was spraying the spray butter onto her noodles to the tune of Good King Wenceslas. I was like,
God.
and I was like, what am I doing? I'm like, is that Good King Wenceslas? And I was like, oh, Christmas is coming. I'm excited.
Okay.
Have you ever sprayed butter to any kind of song before? Hopefully now you will in the
I've never
future
even
with a
sprayed butter
crazy
till I met
British
you.
accent.
I never do a lot of butter spraying either. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's just like a normal.
Do people not
Remember when
use
we're all
spray butter?
spraying
I had
butter?
never
You guys
used
don't
it
use
before.
spray butter?
You know, I remember it was like a fad. I feel like a while ago.
Isn't it called like, I can't believe it's not
I
butter?
know.
It's not
Yeah,
even
I
real
don't
butter.
know.
Like so.
Why is it
No,
always
it's Country
milk?
Crock still. Or
No,
no, it's I can't believe it's not butter. Wait, they have that.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
not
tub?
butter. So what is
that means
it?
it's not butter.
Well, no, I mean, it's
butter
margarine, okay?
adjacent.
It's margarine.
So,
but they have that in a tub, too. It's not like it's that.
but how do they keep it liquid? It's just it's like melted butter all the time.
Yeah, but it's in
no.
the fridge, but it's always
There's
yeah,
some
that's a good
coagulation
point.
method they use. Probably the same thing they use for blood.
And then they just put it in like a
And then it's like in
cleaner
a
spray
squeeze-
bottle. It's like Febreze. You just walk around, just
Shit, is this not
Spraying it.
normal?
I don't
Is
know.
it not normal?
we're gonna have to ask other people about spray butter.
Oh my
I'm gonna
gosh.
take a poll.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Natalie and I played a game recently, a new DeVere Games game.
DeVere
Right?
Games
DeVere
game.
Games game. It's a real games game. It's
a gamey game.
It's like a man's man. It's a real game. This is a real games game called Luna Capital. The Lunar Capital. Well, it's not that far off.
Luna Capital.
So I opened the box to punch out the game. and did not realize that this game comes from DeVere's adult line. Did you? Because there is this rocket ship you have to put together, and punching this thing out was really just an emasculating exercise of looking awkwardly at the ceiling like I was in a gym locker room with a bunch of old dudes walking around naked. Touching the pieces of this rocket ship, I'm doing air quotes here, was a really eye-opening experience for me. I couldn't put the damn thing together. I was just like, okay, this goes, ew. And then I drop it. You know, I feel like if the game came with batteries, every woman gamer would be lining up to buy it.
Oh my gosh.
So this very endowed rocket ship is what holds the tiles while you're playing and stares at you the entire time, making you question everything. So here's how the game works. Basically, you're trying to accumulate the most points by placing tiles on cards. You're building a tableau of cards and tiles to place on those cards over 3 eras of 4 rounds each.
Yes.
They're not actually called eras. I don't remember what it's
That's
called.
what you kept calling
I know.
it.
I kept calling it eras, but it's not. Anyway, on the board, there's a space for 4 cards to go. Each card has sections underneath it with spaces for 4 tiles. In the first round of the game, each card has 1 tile underneath it. So on your turn, you're selecting one of those cards, and with it, the 1 tile underneath it. In subsequent rounds, there are 2 tiles, then 3, then 4. After you select your card and tiles, you then place them onto your tableau. You can place cards onto the table so that they're orthogonally adjacent to other cards, either left, right, top, or bottom. Yes, you can have 3 rows of cards played this way, and you must place them with a higher number to the right of a card that was played with a lower number. So if I take the first card and it's a 2, I put it on the table, and the next card I take is a 5, I have to put it either to the right of the 2, or I could put it above the 2 or below the 2. Make sense?
Yes.
So on the cards are spaces to place the tiles. And after you place your card, you must place all tiles you accumulated that turn. The tiles are where the points are scored. Each tile has its own separate way of scoring. It's very similar to other tile laying games, basically like tiles in a group. Okay, place tiles of a certain type next to other tiles to score bonus points. Some tiles just straight up give you points. Some give you points based on who has the most. It's typical fare there. The trick comes in a couple different ways. Placing your cards in the right way to capitalize on the tiles you want to go for, and getting the right combination of tiles when you need them. It's tricky figuring out which cards to place and where to place them, as you have these 3 rows you can utilize. And so it feels like you can do anything at the beginning, but very quickly you realize how restrictive the game can feel when you've placed, accidentally, all low numbers in your 3 rows, and now nothing but high cards come out. And so you have to you have 3 rows of 1, and now you have 8s and 9s up there, and you have to place one, and you're like, oh shit. An 8 next to a 1 means I can't play 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 now. So that kind of stuff, it won't happen, but it can, right? And you realize quickly that you've screwed up. The game ends after the 4th round of the 3rd era, and you total up points on tiles, and then whoever has the most wins, okay? So things I liked. Like all games of this style, it's really fun to pick a few tiles, like types, and then go for them, trying to make them fit in such a way that they'll score you tons of points. It's fun to figure out how best to place your cards as well. That adds a lot of constriction to your plans. The tiles are shaped in this cool way that for some reason is just more pleasing to the eye than like a square or a hex tile. You know, they're like
like a rectangle with the
with like a little lip on the end. Yeah. I also enjoy placing the tiles on the cards. It creates a really pleasing look and sense of accomplishment as you're playing at the end. Because we played the demo at Gen Con, we got like a little sense.
Yeah.
When you have 3
way
rows
bigger.
and there's tons of tiles, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
It really does. The decisions seemed important. Rarely was there a time I was just taking something because I didn't know what else to do or didn't care. Each turn felt very important
That's a
and
good point.
always like I was making the wrong choice.
Yeah. Because, I mean,
Right?
really, you only have 12 turns.
There's only 12 turns that you get
Kinda
the
like
entire game.
Magnificent.
Yep, just like
Are you
it's very
impressed?
toit.
Yeah.
Did I knew that?
I am very impressed that you knew that. Yes. Did you know that from The Magnificent or from the song that I made about The Magnificent?
No.
She doesn't remember the song or the game.
I do. That was the Macklemore song.
There's some reason 12 stuck
Yeah.
in her brain. Yes, but it is very restrictive in that way. So every turn, and you feel like it matters. You feel like, and you always feel like you're making the wrong choice. You're always like,
Like,
no.
which one do I do?
Why did I?
Is it
No,
this?
I probably should have done that
Right
one.
when you get 4, because in the 4th era of each round,
The 4th round
you
of each
get
era.
4 tiles, and
4
there's,
tiles.
There's never going to be one that's all 4 perfect tiles. So you're either taking
Right.
one that's junk or you're
Or it
trying
has
to
like
find the best of
perfect,
the best.
it has great tiles, but the card is like garbage.
Yeah, maybe
for
it's a
you,
10
or,
and you don't need it. Yeah.
Or they're both kind of good, but there's this little marker that gets placed around. And if the marker is in the same column as the card and tiles you want, you can take those, but you have to discard a card from your hand to do that. And if you only have one card in your hand, and this happened to me in our play, you're making this big decision like, okay, these tiles and this is clearly the best option of all four. And if I don't take this, Natalie will. But to take it, I have to discard the last card in my hand, which means I now have to play the card I'm picking up every time for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And so I did that. But I liked that decision point. Okay.
Right.
So that was kind of cool.
Because cards are also worth points at the end.
Yes,
So
cards in your hand.
Not only do you have less options,
That's less points.
but you also have less points.
Yep. So you have to weigh.
The benefit.
Those are the kinds of decisions I like. You have to weigh I'm getting rid of this card, which is getting rid of 3 points, but I'm getting all these sweet tiles. I'm risking the fact that I might not get a card to legally play. But if I do, this could be a big windfall for me. And Natalie doesn't get those tiles. Or if I keep the card in my hand and get 3 points, Natalie's totally going to take that on her next turn. And then I'm just giving her those points for free. So it's like, so you got to weigh though. I like that. All right, here's what I didn't like. The iconography, there's iconography in this game like crazy. It is way too small and it is way too similar. Most all the information you need on the tile is reduced to this teeny tiny little top left-hand cornered area.
It is very tiny.
And on top of that, the icons are all so similar, it's kind of frustrating. There are 6 tiles that have hearts as their icon, and they're all different. Okay? Because each heart, which is already incredibly small, has this even smaller shape inside of it, giving it a distinct characteristic. Do you have the heart with the little tiny triangle inside of it, or do you have the heart with the little tiny hex inside of it? You can kind of tell at a glance because the icons are different colors.
Yeah.
But it's a bit annoying because you either have to constantly be getting up in close to see the tiles or constantly picking them up to make sure you're getting the right icons in them. Then there's 3 other separate tiles that are also hearts, but they happen to have like this little glass dome around them. And it's not super simple. Why is it so freakishly small? That's annoying.
Right, because the most of the tile has like another icon, like a picture, but that's big.
Yeah, that's
So,
big.
like,
And then
why
the rest of the
couldn't-
tile is the artwork.
Yeah.
So the most important piece of information you need.
Like, why is the artwork so big, but not the piece?
Yeah,
of
the
information
artwork
you
is
need?
huge.
I mean, I will say, they were a lot of times. I think they were distinct. They were unique to that. So I guess if you put that together, you can see it what it is by the artwork.
Yeah,
but that's not the icon that you're typically.
I never
like,
one time looked at the
tend
artwork.
to
I'll say
look at
that.
because-
Never. I only
yeah.
looked at the icon.
I only even noticed it honestly because you had a bunch of the heart with the blue.
Yeah, the triangle.
And
I had the heart with the triangle.
You were across
Triangle
the
heart.
table from me, and I saw that you had a bunch of the same artwork together, and I was like, "Oh, those must have the same symbol at the top."
Interesting. Yeah.
Or else I didn't even look at the artwork. But
I don't. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I
guess-
was surprised that they made the part of the game you need to see the most clearly, and that's literally the only thing they talk about in the rules
Right.
is the smallest thing on the tile. So the game also felt a little bit more frustrating than fun for the both of us. The end game felt really good, but mostly you constantly had that feeling like you made a huge mistake during the beginning to the middle game, which I know I said is usually the kind of fun and stress I like, but this one had like too much of that. We both said this phrase multiple times. Ah, shit, I fucked up. Damn it. Ah, shit. We said that like almost every turn it felt like. It happened a lot. More importantly, it felt frustrating and not as if we just accidentally made a blunder. You know what I mean? It felt like, oh no, like I'm locked up. I don't know what to do. It felt challenging in a way that we didn't totally love. Some games when you play them, you realize you messed up after seeing what you could have done later. And it gives you that like aha moment. Like, oh, now I get it. But this game is more like, ugh, I don't have any cards to play in that spot I want. And the tiles have to be played on these spots, but now I'm blocking this other tile I played. So should I even take this? Ugh. But if I don't, I have to do something else. It's even worse. And it just feels frustrating and instead of interesting, personally. Thankfully, that goes away towards the end game as things come into focus a bit more. And what to do is much more clear as you spent the entire game building up to something. Right, where early on you're kind of like you have all these different options, and you're like, I'll just
Like, which one do
I gotta take these 4 tiles. So now I'm gonna put these in some places that I hope work out later. Most of them won't.
Right.
And then as the end game comes on, you're kind of like, okay, this one is gonna score me a bunch of points, so I need to go for this tile. And I like that it comes into focus. I like that about it. But the beginning to middle game, I didn't. We asked each other a few times halfway how to feel. I was like, what do you think? And she was like, yeah, it's cool. And I was like, are you having fun? And she was like, oh, not really. Overall, I enjoyed the game. I can see others enjoying it as well. That said, I'm not sure it will stick around in our collection, other than as like a last resort for Natalie if we're at a convention and she forgot to pack her other device.
Ooh, because the tower shaped like a penis.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
It was a penis joke.
It's a penis joke.
It was a masturbation penis.
Yeah, it's a punch out penis.
What do you
rocket ship
think about
joke.
it, Natalie?
I thought it was a good game. I think I would put it in the good, not great category as of right now. I mean, we only had one play of it. So let me just start out by saying I kind of like my feelings of this game. It's kind of similar to what you said, but it's like it was split up into the beginning, middle, and end. I felt like completely different in each parts of
Each
those.
phase?
Yeah,
I agree.
So the beginning, kind of felt like it normally feels when you're playing a new game and you're kind of just like, I don't really know what I'm
the
doing.
hell do I do?
I'm not sure what the best thing to do is. It's just more like, I don't know. I guess I'll just do this. Then the middle, I felt so stuck. And I remember I was like, I'm sorry I'm taking so long. I just literally am staring at the stuff like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And like I can't figure it out. And that's when you asked me, like, are you having fun? And I was like, not really.
No.
But then at the end, that was the most fun part. And I did enjoy that when everything seemed to be coming together. That was the point where I'm like, okay, we're about to score here. I'm not at the point where I'm like, I hope I'm going to get these tiles soon so I can complete this, because I'm in the phase where whatever I'm going to get now.
Yeah.
And so I have to make the decision of what gives me the most points. So that was the most fun part to me. But overall, I thought it was a good game. I did like it. I didn't like the feeling stuck part, but also at the same time, I just wonder if that's because it was like our first full play.
Totally.
And like, I think when we were playing the game, you even made the comment like maybe we're almost like taking it too seriously. Like we're trying to like think too hard about what to do. And
Yeah, there's some games where
we felt stymied.
There's some games where I
I
feel like if you try to do everything, you're going to just get in your own way, and you can't.
Yeah.
A lot of games you can't do everything.
Right.
They want you to pick a couple lanes and really go hard for it, and that's really what you do.
Well, because there's like a lot of times where like it's like you're looking at the options that you have.
It's a ladybug.
Yeah, between the cards and the tiles to pick, and I'm kind of just like, well, I don't really want that. I want this, but that's not out there, kind of thing. But anyways, yeah. So like I said, I do wonder if we play it again, now that we kind of know how the whole thing goes, if we would feel different about it.
You can't have everything.
But
You can't.
That's the point of the
You know
game.
what though?
Is if you
She
can make it
did,
the perfect.
and you remember how she got the record at Gen
Yeah.
Con? She basically got the record again last night. We were at the end of the game, and I was like,
poor
"Oh, I did
Natalie.
not do good." And she was
I
like,
didn't
"Me
get
neither."
All of my things I needed. I just got way more than you.
She killed it. She crushed it. Do you want to add any thoughts, Jeff? Because you played it a little bit, or do you want?
Yeah, I think
withhold?
so. I've been talking to Sam McMeeple a lot because he's been like bugging me to play this game, and I was like, okay, I'm going to play it with Devin. I learned the rules, punch the penis, and I was like, ready. And I read it, and Devin was like, I don't really want to learn rules. I was like, okay. So we ended up that night playing Crown of Amara, and we just played that, which is a winner for Devin, by the way. She's like,
she likes it, huh?
I'm in. She's like,
wow,
okay,
cool.
But so, and then having played it, I think that there. Okay, so there's a ladybug flying around.
Yeah, stupid ladybug. It won't
And-
stop
Yeah, why
flying.
is it-
Natalie looked at it like she saw a spider a
She
minute
did.
ago, so
Her
that's why
eyes,
there
like,
was maybe a
went,
pause.
like, yeah, your eyes went like
And
past 100% open.
We've been in the Amazon basement before with all these spiders,
Yeah.
so I don't really know what I was saying. But I think that
Devin
I'll like the
likes
You're saying you
game.
didn't
tomorrow.
play it.
Yeah, I didn't play it. You were saying nothing important, Jeff. You didn't play the goddamn game. Okay, shut up, you idiot. Yeah, we know. Natalie here didn't wear the Mad Board Gamer button at Gen Con. We know how much she supports me.
Yeah, she's like,
didn't.
well, yeah, you took that. That was one.
You don't remember? That's one of my
I had to
stories
make
I
room
wrote.
for the other one.
Yeah, I had to make room for the important ones. I was like, Natalie, you got one? No, I have to make room for the important ones, the other ones.
What the?
And you suck.
I only have limited space.
Yeah, and I'm not important enough. I understand.
I'm the button collector.
I just got myself ordained and married the two of you, and I
Jeff
thought that
married
we
us.
considered
Jeff
ourselves
sits in the
very
room
good
while we have
friends.
sex and gives you notes,
Yeah.
Natalie.
Man.
He's not doing that anymore.
So who cares?
No, it's all criticism. So you guys didn't end up playing it.
We didn't end up
Sam's
playing it.
been trying to get you to play it.
So he'll be interested in hearing the episode. I think I'm really going to like it because I do like the challenge of like what is best, what's not best.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you'll
all right,
like
can I throw this somewhere, or maybe like taking the one that might not work in the first round is. Then it might come out. Now,
So that
now you
stuff's
have a new land.
That stuff
where
almost
things
like it's definitely going to happen. So
Yeah.
like you're going to take tiles that you're like, I don't really want that, but I want these other 2 tiles that are there. So maybe I'll make this one work.
yeah.
And definitely after we played the first round, well, so once I had my 3 rows established, I realized very quickly after that, I was like, oh, I screwed up here. Because I tried to make them, okay, I'm going to start from the left and go to the right. You don't want to do that. You don't want to just have 3 rows where you have cards numbered 1 or 2. Because again,
Because then if you got a bunch of 9s in your hand.
you're only going to get high cards. It's just the way it's going to happen,
Yeah.
and then you're kind of screwing yourself
In
over.
our game, it kind of felt like they were most of the cards out there were either like 1, 2, or 3, or like 9 and 10. And I'm like, where's all the in between cards?
Yeah.
Like,
Now, what I didn't talk about, there are these tokens.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, there are these tokens that you can collect from certain tiles that you can put on cards to eliminate the number on the card, which means you can then put it wherever the hell you want
Yeah,
to.
that
There's
really
also
helped.
these
That
tokens,
was
which
key.
neither of us got one, I don't think.
No, we
that
didn't.
let you. It's really cool, and this is what reminded me of the game Cascadia, which is another game in this kind of ilk where it's like you get 2 things that are both randomly distributed, but they're together. You got to take them as a group, right? That Cascadia.
And then play them on your.
And then play them on your tableau board.
Yeah.
Very similar feels to for me. And this little other thing you can get, this token, lets you swap tiles around before you take them. So you can potentially swap out what you don't want, get what you want,
Yeah.
and then take the
I
tile.
like those kind of stuff.
I love
we
that
play,
kind of stuff.
we played Overboss a few times, and
Yeah.
that has a similar
Same thing. Overboss.
take
Get
both
the 2
thing.
things.
This is obviously a next step up. There's more to this a little bit, I think. But I also like you said that token goes on the card that like makes you eliminate or discard one of the cards, and I'm pretty sure that pops up on something that was just taken. So like if Natalie takes
Yes.
a card and a tile, that token that would make Ryan discard one goes to that spot where the
Where
card's
the new
spot,
card
which
goes,
is great because then Ryan can't just automatically get everything he needs that turns up, or you
Yeah.
can't automatically get
that
it. You have to do a
happens
little bit
so
of
much
punishment.
more than than I thought it would. It almost seemed like every single time, all the stuff that we wanted the most, that marker
Well,
is
I'll
there.
tell you why.
Yeah.
It's because of what I said. There was either like 3s and 9s out there, and we both wanted in between cards. So the in between
Betweeners.
card kept showing up on there, and so then you'd pay a card and take it, and then the new next in between card, because the other cards weren't changing.
Yeah, so
would
it
show up
doesn't
there,
move.
So then I'd take it, and so then it wasn't moving, and it'd stay in like the only place where we place new cards.
Yeah, it
Personally,
seems like I like the
of
mitigating
the 3
randomness.
of those games, I'll compare those right now. I think I liked Cascadia the best. Very close second, I think, was Overboss. And then I'd put this in 3rd place behind those 3 games, which do. But that's not to say that Luna Capital is bad.
Yeah,
Right.
I
I
liked
did
it.
like it. I'm not like. I would even recommend it to people because I think
I'm excited to
it
play
does
it.
good stuff. I just think I would rather play Cascadian over Boss. I think every time over this, but I thought it was a good game.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, so that's Luna Capital by DeVere's adult XXX line of games.
Don't punch around children.
Yeah,
That's true in both real life and
don't
and
punch
not.
children.
Just don't
It's a
punch
good,
around children.
yeah.
Or that. Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what you got, man?
So I need to give a shout out to May over at Ameritrash Talk
Oh, Ameritrash Talk. I was just talking to her.
on Instagram. First of all, she's amazing. I posted
Amazing?
I posted this story that a couple weeks ago I had Board Game Club on Friday. I took a picture of the kids playing games.
Oh,
and
isn't she a teacher?
yeah, and she was like, I want to send your kids a couple games.
What?
Oh.
I was like, no, you don't. I'm like, it's
Yeah,
okay. I'm
that's
like,
amazing.
It's fine. You don't need to send me anything.
No,
and
I
was
hate
like,
them. Don't
well, let
worry.
me send you something, right? I'm like, I don't want to be the taker.
Did you give her Natalie's button?
And then, yeah,
She got
wore
Natalie's
it.
Mad Board Gamer
She
button?
wore it. So I know who my real friends are. And so she was like, no, you're not sending me anything. Just tell me your address. Let me send it to you. So she convinced me, and she sent me 2 games. She sent me Super Mega Lucky Box.
Oh, cool.
she did.
Which I played with the kids on Friday.
What'd they
and they liked. There was like 3 of them and me.
Okay.
They liked it. They
Ooh,
were
what
like,
did you think?
It was fine. It wasn't like you said. It wasn't like revolutionary.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
Groundbreaking.
yeah. But it was like
Yeah,
they've
good
never
game.
played a game that way.
Sure.
So I'm just gonna leave it at school
Yeah.
and they'll play it.
Very
and
cool.
It's easy to teach, so that's cool. And then she got me a game called Snakes.
Snakes. I don't know no snakes.
So Snakes is by Big Potato.
Oh, okay.
It is another variation of Chameleon and Insider, which is just they haven't played it yet. They also don't know that I have it,
And they
They're
love
going to
the
be
Chameleon, don't they?
pumped about it. Yeah. So what Snakes is it's so there's a question on the table. It's a multiple choice question. There's what is the capital of something or another, and there's 3 answers on there. The snakes at the table know the answer, and they're trying to get people. The snakes also know who each other are, and they're trying to get people to pick the wrong answer. And then there's ordinary people who are trying to figure out the answer. So you're all kind of blending in. The snakes want the people to get it wrong. The other people want to get it right, so they get points.
And it's one of those questions that nobody really knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or maybe you just
Like
know
in
it, but
Wagers?
what if they think you don't?
Yeah.
You're the snake,
Yeah.
right? Because there's like 3
Yeah.
snakes at the table. In resistance style, they all know who each other are. So they're working together to get everybody else to get it
Are
wrong.
you trying to root out the snakes?
No, you're just trying to.
You're trying to get the
so you
answers
get like
correct.
a token and you say, all right, I'm going to answer. Everybody answers like A, B, or C. And then you flip it over. The snakes have to put a snake token out. The snakes get points for everybody gets it wrong.
Okay.
And if you get it right, you get points for getting it right. That kind of thing. So it's kind of
Is this
cool.
new?
Yes, I think it's Big Potato's newer game. Okay,
I
it's
don't
like
even see it on
okay.
here.
So when you type
Oh.
in snakes, it's like with
3
16
S's.
S's or something. Yeah,
Okay, I found it. It looks just like the chameleon box.
exactly. It's a chameleon type game. So if you like social deduction, I think this is going to hit for them.
Oh, like,
when
here we
we
go.
play it,
Here's an example of a question. Only one of these animals is faster than Usain Bolt. Which one?
Oh,
A is
okay.
domestic cat. B is elephant.
okay,
Right. So that's cool.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna love it. So once I watch them play it or we play it together, I'll report back. But I think it's gonna be a huge hit for them.
I have to.
you got
Can I
more
read
questions?
one?
Sure.
This was so funny. What is Ronald McDonald called in Japan? A. Mr. Happiness. B. Donald McDonald.
What?
Or C. Sensei Yum.
Sensei Yum.
I hope Sensei Yum.
I know, me too. I also kind of like Donald McDonald.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's great. Or what was one of the suggested titles for the movie Toy Story? A. A Tale of Two Toys.
Okay.
B. Bedroom World. That sounds
Ooh,
wrong.
that's gross.
Or C. Made in Taiwan.
No,
It's got to be A
the
Tale of
first
Two
one.
Toys.
Yeah,
right?
it has to be the first.
And here's the last one. What was the original intended use of bubble wrap? A. Wallpaper.
Ooh, wallpaper.
B. Food storage. Or C. Stress relief. It's got to be food storage, yeah?
What about wallpaper?
Wallpaper? Maybe in like a mental institution.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Which
Come
makes
in.
me want to go to there. I want to go to there.
I want to go-
Okay,
yeah.
that sounds fun. I kind of want to play this now.
Yeah, so I'll
I don't know no snakes.
play it as a group, right?
sounded like a snake.
It seems like a good big group game. So I'm really excited to play it with them. So thank you, May. They're gonna love
You
it. She
are
sent some-
amazing.
Yeah, she sent some stickers too, so I'm gonna give them some of
Are you
their
gonna do
trash
sticker
talk
swap?
stickers. Yeah, I'm gonna send her some stickers, but she sent some for the kids, so I'm gonna give them.
Do the stickers just say
my
trash
favorite
talk
ones.
or do they say Ameritrash talk?
They say Ameritrash Talk. It's got her new logo on it.
I didn't know she had one.
She got a new logo that is like, for some reason, it makes me think of like the 4th of July.
I'm going to look her up.
I think
Fireworks?
Sir Meeple did her logo, her new one.
Oh, okay. He's doing
And-
everybody's.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Oh, I
I
see
think
it.
4th of July. Doesn't
Yeah,
she
she's
4th
at
of
like
July?
a
She had like
podium.
a Uncle Sam hat on or
Is
something.
she in a podium or is she in a trash can? She's probably in a trash can.
that
Ameritrash.
makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
She's in a green trash can dumpster thing. Yeah, she's got like a Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam? It's not Uncle. It's Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam. Okay. As opposed to what? Aunt Sam?
I
say
know.
Dr.
Mr.
Dr. Sam.
Dr.
This is Dr. Sam. No. Sam
Okay.
Bernstein.
Yeah, so Uncle Sam top hat. She's like really excited.
Okay, so it's
And
like
then
a
there's
4th of July
fireworks in the background. Yep.
Yeah. So thanks, May. That was amazing. We appreciate it over at the Board Game Club. So I want to talk
Very
about a
cool.
game.
Very cool.
A game that might fit
Just
on
one?
our sexual sounding lists for March.
Oh,
This
great.
game is called The Hunger.
Ew, don't make that
Gross.
noise.
It's not called that. You guys know The Hunger?
What if a game was just called Clicks and
No.
Beefs? Yeah,
I know The
absolutely.
Hunger
I remember researching The Hunger for Gen
So
Con.
when you type in The Hunger into
Game
Google
Geek?
and you try to find this game, make sure you type in The Hunger board game. Because if you
Hunger
type in
Games.
The Hunger game, you're going to get The Hunger,
Hunger
Games.
Games.
So
Sure.
Yeah.
it is a Richard Garfield game.
Yeah,
You know him?
absolutely.
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
You've heard of him, have you? What does he do?
Ooh, what does he do?
Yeah.
Pick a card game.
Plays with Odie.
What's that?
Garfield.
Oh, Garfield. Yep. Natalie is a
He
funny
designed a very, very important to the industry
crew.
card.
one. No. Not, keep but further back. Like card game. Like people
Oh.
go
Name another card game.
like a card. No,
Sushi Go.
There you go. It's Sushi Go.
Sushi Go. Go.
Name another card game even before that.
Even before
like
that?
Yeah.
card game. Like all cards. cards.
Yeah,
Like,
just
why
cards.
does RIW stay open?
That's
magic.
Oh man, I wanted her to guess some more ridiculous card games.
He created the deck of cards.
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
playing
Euchre.
cards.
Yeah, he's Mr. Bicycle.
War.
Mr. Bicycle.
So Richard Garfield teamed up with Renegade Games, which to me, I was like, yes. Renegade puts out some great games.
They're awesome.
Richard Garfield,
Renegade's
cool.
great.
And they made a deck building game. Richard Garfield with cards. Booyah.
Vampiric.
So I saw this on the Gen Con preview list. I was
Yep.
excited for it. It was on my go check it out list. Donkey Kong, Dave Madigan bought it, so then it was off my list, thankfully, and
Hell yeah.
in his collection. So that saved me some moolah.
Yes, yes,
All right.
sir.
Box is really cool. It says The Hunger. It's got this goofy looking vampire on it.
It is cool.
Like I kind of like the art. It's like realistic but whimsical and kind of fun, and I don't know.
Sure.
Keeps
I
it
agree.
light. So players are vampires. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
They build their decks
You get
as
to be a
vampires.
vampire. I always like games where you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
I love those.
You
kinds
are
of
hunting
games.
humans.
Yeah,
the
I
goal is
love
to
that
hunt
kind of
and
stuff.
devour
I think
humans
it's so
in this
cool.
game, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's so
And they do it in sort of, again, like it's not like violent sort of way. It's a very acute.
It's very tasteful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, no pun intended, tasteful way. So the board is a giant map. So for it being a deck building game, there is a board element involved. So there's a big board and there's a giant map of a village. And the middle of the board is the mountaintop, which you as a vampire, that's where you live.
Okay.
And as you spiral down the mountain, you end up in the village. Like in the forest, you go through the forest and then into the village, and you kind of just work your way through this map.
Okay.
It is a race. So as you play the game, you are going to go down from the mountaintop to these different spaces, and then you have to race yourself back up.
Sounds clanky.
Sounds clanky.
Clanky.
It is clanky. So you have 3 cards in your hand. The cards give you normal currency, right? Just like any deck building game. So the currency on the cards can be used to buy new cards from the market
Okay.
and or to move.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Again.
you total up your number, and if you have 8 and a card costs 3, you can move 5.
Oh,
and
so that's
buy it for
okay. So
3.
that's different than clanky.
Yeah.
So you're using your resources to either buy cards or move.
Yeah, or you could do both.
You could split 'em up?
You can split them up, but you can only buy 1 card in your turn. Certain spaces along the board let you buy 2 cards if you want. So as you move, that's why you want to move away from
Did
the
you say
tower.
are the cards random when they come out, or is there like a market of cards?
There's kind of like a market. So there's 1 plus the number of players for rows. So you'll get at least 3 new cards Dave and I play. So you'll get at least that many new cards, number of players, every round that will turn up. And then those cards, if they don't get bought, they slide over and become cheaper. And then if they don't get bought again, they slide over into like a pile that essentially is just like $1. You can buy all the cards that are left over for $1. But they're also the leftover cards. They're clogging your
For a
deck. Do you
reason.
want to do
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Right? So it kind of cycles this market. So as you move away from the mountain, you need to, because there's like treasure chests, there's spaces that let you do things that are different and special, and you get +1 bonuses. And basically the cards you're buying are like vampire-y kind of shit, right? So you can buy like a werewolf, and that might
Has anyone
help
done
you get
Vampirate?
points. Ooh.
You said Vampirate, and I'm like Vampirate. Let's do a smash up of that.
Okay.
Smash up guy. If you're listening
Smash
to
Up
this,
Guy. Vampirates.
Yeah,
That's-
called
maybe
Vampirates needs to
someone
be a
did
thing.
that already.
Yeah. Okay, continue.
Yeah. What was I talking about?
That's all right.
Oh yeah, you get treasure, you get bonuses. You want to move away. It's encouraging you to move away because it's the race, right?
Yeah,
you have to
right.
race
Get the
back.
fuck out.
So as you're eating and collecting these cards, the human cards give you points, but they're also
'Cause you're eating
slowing
them?
you down. Yeah,
That's cool.
They're also slowing you down because they have like 0 speed. It's like that's the deck clogging card.
Yep,
Yeah.
totally.
So you get points right away. There are spaces on the board that let you devour the human. So you take it from your deck and you then devour it, and it comes out of your deck. You still get the points. But now that's like how you are almost,
Thinning it.
yeah, you're thinning it and keeping the points so that the humans aren't there. But that's tough to,
It's the Coumadin card.
It's not like a
Stupid. That's
easy
a
thing
dumb
to.
joke.
right. So all a lot of the humans have like funny kind of text, and some of them have powers that kind of like hurt you. Like there's a couple people that they call spicy, and they're like holding garlic or something. So like when you take them, they're the spicy cards, and they make you, if it comes out in your hand, you have to then move backwards 3 spots before you go back to the mountain or something, right?
That's cool.
Yeah.
So they all kind of force you to move around because the more humans you eat, you're heavier or whatever. So that's clogging up your deck.
I know.
And you play 15 rounds, and if you're not back at the castle by the end of 15 rounds, you can't win.
Dead. So, okay. Clanky.
So there are spaces right before, just like Clank, that you can get to where you're not in the castle, but you lose points. It's not a race against the other player, though, because Clank, that timer, that oh my god, we're gonna lose timer,
Yeah.
is when one person like bails, right? And then there's a certain amount of turns left, and you're fighting the dragon or you're fighting the whatever's the
For sure.
the in space one. And this one is 15 rounds, so you got to go there and back in 15 rounds. So at least there's a set number of kind of planning.
Did this feel like a complete ripoff to you?
Not yeah,
Because like
maybe
I'm surprised Richard Garfield's name is attached to something that just sounds almost exactly like another game.
to me it felt very very clanky. The
Is there
whole
like
time.
a monster that could wake up like in Clank?
There's
and-
not that because you're playing against the game, like you're playing just against the timer more than the monster that might eat you.
Sure.
The only interaction I think between players is obviously when people are buying cards, but if you can land on the same space as somebody else and you can kick them forward or backwards if you want. So if I land on Natalie's space, I could actually push her further away from the castle one spot. So that's the only that might be the equivalent.
There's no
of like
actual
pulling
like
the cubes
clank
out.
mechanism like
Right.
where you're making noise
Exactly.
and they add. Okay.
But if you took the clank mechanism out of Clank, they're the same game,
Wow.
right? You're racing out,
Yeah.
you're collecting stuff, and then you're racing back. And there's some differences, right? The treasure you pick up in the Hunger allows you to do some different things. You
Okay.
can, buy a card for cheaper, or it gives you +1 to this thing. Like there's just different kind of treasure powery things. There's also ways to score points in this game that are a little different. They have private and public goal cards or goal like tiles. That some of the spots as you're running away from the mountaintop, your castle, you can stop at a space and instead of buying cards, you can actually get a new private objective tile. So there's like different ways to score by yourself, which that's not in Clank. I don't remember that there's any private or public goals in Clank. I think you just want the most point treasure and then your cards get points.
Yep.
So that at least adds a little bit, but the game is very similar. Dave and I both, we played it just 2-player. We both were like, this is Clank, right?
Yeah.
Like, do we...
So you couldn't help compare.
Do we?
Clank with
Yeah,
vampires?
you can't. If you played it and didn't compare it, I don't think you've played Clank.
Yeah.
And we both kind of were like, would we reach for this over Clank?
That's the question of the hour right
And
there.
I don't know. I don't know if we would. And I posted this on Instagram and said I think I would reach for Clank or Clank in Space over this. Jared Meeple Mentor was like, I like the Hunger better. So there was like an opposite point.
I guess
He
there's
liked-
a
Are they the
theme
same-
difference there.
Are they the same like
Yeah.
weight? Like does one feel like simpler?
I think they're about the same weight.
Okay.
I don't think one's simpler. I like the card combinations in Clank better, I think. I think there's some cooler things you can do with the deck. But I liked in the Hunger how thematic it was of like eating the humans kind of just slowed you down.
I
And,
like that theme.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
theme.
and
The theme is
the
cool.
different humans, like it was creative enough where they made them taste different. Like you ate a military person, he was heavier, or you ate this person carrying garlic, he was spicy and ruined your movement. And so those kind of things were different.
Yeah.
And the different humans you ate also correlated to the different public goals or private goals. So it was like one of mine was collect the most. It was like people with house icons, right? So they were just like normal household people. You just ate them.
I wonder how this became a game. Like, do you think Richard Garfield went to Renegade and said, I got this idea for a game? Or do you think Renegade was like, let's put out this game, let's attach a big name to it so it does well? Because I can't imagine you would need Richard Garfield to make this game. This game's been made.
I
it
know.
seems
I don't
like, you
know what he did to the game
Yeah.
that would make it like that would put his name on it, right? Like what is Richard Garfield-esque about this game?
Yeah.
I don't know. I also don't I haven't played Magic in 20 years. So
Well, he's also, I mean, if you think Richard Garfield, he's also designed a shit ton of other games.
Yeah.
Like King of Tokyo was his design. Or Hive Mind.
yeah.
Randomly
Oh, really?
is his design. Yeah. And then so he's done stuff like Magic. So he's kind of all over the place.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a little bit but still, this is a
It was an odd. I'll update you because I'm sure we'll play it again, and Dave wants to play it again. And one thing I'm nervous about. Well, let me go through some things that I really liked. I thought the theme was cool.
yeah.
I think that this theme is more attractive than the Clank theme for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think people like vampires.
Totally.
Since that movie Twilight, right?
I never heard of that.
Those
What's that about?
vampires? Those are vampires,
the
right?
Twinkle Ghosts?
So I think people like vampires. I also think the art is maybe something that would bring you to that and say, yes, I want to be a vampire. I want to eat humans. That's cool.
Yeah.
Instead of go in a cave, go from a dragon, which again is certain
Also
people like
cool.
that. Also cool. But I think it attracts a different group of people.
Yeah.
I-
Vampires are more mainstream.
Yeah. I liked the market. I like how the market kind of moved cards. And that really there was this pile in each row that you could just buy for $1. And it was like kind of tempting to do it because there's like, oh, I can get a couple points for it, but how am I ever going to get back with all these
Yeah.
these no movement
Yeah.
cards? So I liked the balance of keeping my movement cards, trying to buy movement cards, but also I need points. I can't just have movement cards. I need to buy these people
Yeah.
and eat the people so I can get points for it because you
And
get
they
them
don't show up in your
immediately.
deck then.
And then they're going to show up
Slow
and
you
clog up my
down.
3
Yeah.
cards. So I only get to draw 3 cards.
Wow.
And if 2 of them are humans, I might not be
You're
moving.
screwed, yeah.
So, and I like the balance of, all right, I'm 8 or 9 rounds in. I'm all the way kind of down the mountain. When do I turn around? And then when you turn around, that's when your deck is full of humans,
Right.
right? And you're like,
And now it's going to
damn,
take you
now it's
forever to
like,
get back. You're limping
how do you
back.
creep back, right? How do you try to manage that? And the one thing I thought it lacked was like card combos, where I didn't feel like I had
Natalie's
a lot of
favorite
like,
snack.
yeah, the combos. What's your favorite? I've never had a combo in my life, idiot. So there were a couple things. Like your starting deck comes with a couple cards that say if you have a human in your hand, you get +2 movement, or you get an extra buy, or something like that. But I wanted more of that in the market cards. I wanted to be able to buy cards to create combos. Not everybody started with the same combos that they could do, right? I wanted to be able to figure out the market maybe. And then that might make me want to buy all that pile of cards because the 2 cards in there could set something off for me. And I never felt like that happened in this one.
Yeah.
Jared, Meeple Mentor, said it did kind of have. He maybe has figured something out or likes kind of that better. I thought it happened more in Clank. Difference of opinions.
Yeah.
And I think that with more people, there could be some really annoying downtime. You could go from being first to last kind of thing, depending on turn order. Turn order is really weird. It's like what zone you're in and how far back you are, that kind of stuff. It's a really weird thing. But I could go first one round, buy cards, and then I don't do anything on other players' turns.
So you're just sitting there for potentially like 7 turns.
Yeah, with Dave and I, we flew through this game. It was like back and forth. We were just going back and forth. But with 4 or 5 people, it could be a slog. I don't know. I can't say that for sure. But it could be like, I'm going to play my 3 cards. I'm going to move. My turn takes 2 minutes. Ryan card, like that's a long time to, I think, wait between turns.
So good, not great?
Yeah. Good, not great. I'm going to hold off, play it again. But again, I think if they're sitting next to Clank, personally, I'm going to grab Clank in Space or Clank. And I haven't played the Legacy, but I would rather play those than this. But I think if I didn't have those games or I didn't have Clank in my brain, I would have been like, this was fun.
Right.
Like I've never played a racing deck builder game.
Yeah, totally.
But now I'm like, I've played a racing deck builder game.
Yeah, you do.
So
And it's really good. Clank is not like Clank is like very established.
So I think maybe if you don't know about this genre, you don't know about Clank, and you're looking at the 2 and you like vampires more, get the vampire one.
Yeah, totally.
But if you're a Clank person and you're like, Clank is great,
You don't need this.
I don't know if the Hunger is going to belong in
I
the
am
collection.
very surprised Richard Garfield's name is attached to this.
Let's call him.
When it's very
We
simple.
need an interview.
We'll be right back.
And we're back.
He said no.
He was home.
He said, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I'm counting my money.
Yeah.
You shut up there with the $300.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Okay. So a couple weeks ago, when Natalie and I first played Hadrian's Wall, I remember thinking to myself, the game reminded me of Imperial Settlers. And I got excited. I had gotten rid of Imperial Settlers many years before that, having played it enough that I felt I was kind of done with it at the time. But Hadrian's Wall had kind of renewed some of that vigor I felt for the game again. And so I excitedly put it in the same order as Hadrian's Wall, like right after we played it. So Natalie and I had only played it. Natalie had only played it once, it being Imperial Settlers, with me back in the day, and didn't really remember it that much, but that's not
feel like
unusual
I've
for
played
her.
it. I think I
You
might
might
have
have played it with me
once or
too.
twice with you.
Okay,
I
maybe
think
you
so.
played it as
Played
well.
it once.
I think so. We
wouldn't
got it to
remember.
the table right away. And here's a little bit how it works. Basically, each player chooses a civilization to play, like the Romans or the Japanese or the Bayhive. You then get a pile of stuff, which is what most reminded me of Hadrian's Wall. With that pile of stuff, you build cards from your hand onto your tableau. These cards will give you more stuff in future phases or victory points, depending on which card you choose to build. You can also discard a card from your hand with this raise token, which is some of the stuff you get to get more stuff. It's a game about turning your stuff into other stuff to put cards out on the table to score you victory points and get more of them than your opponent. And I love this mechanism in games. And I remembered Imperial Settlers having that, which is why I wanted to right now compare it to Hadrian's Wall to see which one reigns supreme as the king of the use your pile of stuff to turn into more stuff to turn into points type of game.
I like those games.
Me too. Those are fun.
Yeah.
The result was not even close.
Yep.
Oh my god!
I don't
Natalie
often
can't
say-
Even, yep. I know.
Just-
This one's. I
nodding
know
my
what the
head.
answer is.
I don't often say a game fires another game, and I won't say it here. But Hadrian's Wall sure lays off Imperial Settlers.
Yes.
At least it got a severance package.
Yeah, exactly. And it got a really good runway of time before it had to leave. Okay, there's not just room in our organization for both positions, so Imperial Settlers is laid off until such time that we find opportunity for them within our company.
We could just
once
have
again.
them retire early.
Whatever they want. It depends on.
retirement.
We'll lay it out to them and see which one they choose.
Yeah.
They can either go into forced retirement or they're laid off.
Okay.
The reasons are quite crystal clear. So in both games, you start with stuff and then take actions to best decide how to spend your stuff, gaining benefits for the stuff you use. But the main thing that Hadrian's Wall does so well that Imperial Settlers doesn't quite meet expectations with is simultaneous play. In Hadrian's Wall, you have this feel of like everyone at the table is in like an Arabian marketplace, wheeling and dealing with the vendors at the same time. It's like really exciting and fluid and feels alive.
Rocking and rolling.
In Imperial Settlers, you go back and forth in turns, and this key distinction is everything. It slows down to a grinding halt, like you're in the car with a beginner driver who doesn't know how the brake pedal works, and they think it's like, so they slam on it, and the car just like jerks over and over again when you press it, and it's maddening. Once you've played Hadrian's Wall, you will be dying for Imperial Settlers to speed up, for you to be able to just do everything you want to do whenever you want to do it, instead of paying a wood and a stone to build a card, and then waiting, and then waiting, and then waiting, and then spending a worker to activate another card, and then waiting, and then waiting, and then waiting. It's incredibly frustrating and makes the game go on for way too long. There's umpteen threads on Board Game Geek's variants forum for Imperial Settlers that are trying to figure out some way to shorten the game's length because it's just way too long. The best way I can think of to do it is to simply let players take their turns simultaneously. Now, this can't happen the way the cards are written and the way messing with your opponents works, but it's this one little design choice, flaw, that just completely stops the game from going anywhere fun. I say all of this after playing Hadrian's Wall, kind of like Jeff talked about. If you didn't play Clank before you played The Hunger, I think you might be like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And this is the deck building game I want in my collection. Well, before playing Hadrian's Wall, I feel like Imperial Settlers is awesome. You don't care that it's that long because you got this cool mechanism of you have all this stuff and you got to figure out how, because you still have that same thing. You're still figuring out what to do with all your stuff.
Yeah.
It's just you want to go constantly and you can't because you have to wait for all the other players who most likely 90% of the time, nothing they're doing affects you at all. Yeah. The game that Natalie and I just played of this, literally not one thing that we did affected the other person. Not one.
We could have played.
But it could have been that way. And so because it could have messed with each other or we can't play simultaneous. After Hadrian's Wall, I don't think I ever want to play Imperial Settlers again.
Oh.
It's that...
Yeah.
The simultaneous play matters that much.
I know you're comparing it, but it doesn't even compare.
Ooh, tell us what you think.
Wow.
Tell us what you think.
It was just, that's what I think.
Wow, okay.
And Hadrian's
Jeff, you got any other
Wall
games?
is just so far and away better than Imperial Settlers in not even just the simultaneous gameplay, but just the complexity and the fun factor and the excitement.
But don't you think the fun factor is taken away in Imperial Settlers because of that haltness? Because you kind of have all this stuff and you're like, I want to figure out what to do with it all, but you can't.
But I also think that there's so much more going on in Hadrian's Wall that is fun because you're like I feel like in Hadrian's Wall, you're like, I can do this and do this and do this, and then I can do this over here. Where I feel like even if you played simultaneously in Imperial Settlers,
you can't just.
I think it would be like a third of that. There's just not as much going on.
It's a good game. I do not think the game is bad. But after you've played Hadrian's Wall, I don't think you'll ever want to play it again.
After playing Hadrian's Wall, I'd be like, no.
So let me ask you a question.
Yep.
I have a couple.
Sure.
Maybe just one.
It's fine if you have three. Have four.
They did re-implement or remake Imperial Settlers.
Yeah, into the
Empires of the North.
Empires of the North, which I've heard is amazing.
Does that have a similar feel?
No idea. I have not looked into that game since it. I almost got it at Gen Con a few years ago.
Maybe it fixes some of
the... If that does... I don't know. Is that even the same mechanically as
I don't know.
Settlers?
I'm just looking at it on Board Game Geek. It does say it re-implements Imperial Settlers.
Okay. Yeah.
But again,
if it does that...
Will's wording is...
Because I do
think...
Both? Okay, well, so that's a different question.
Another thing that I also like is Hadrian Wall is a blank and right, and Imperial Settlers isn't.
It's a card
everything
game.
about
Man, she hates
Hadrian's
Imperial
Wall,
Settlers.
I
Fucking
like
hates it.
better
I'm gonna
than
just be
Imperial.
quiet.
I don't hate Imperial
You
Settlers.
fucking hate it. Just say
but
it.
like,
You hate it.
If you're gonna
You hate it
have
more
one
than
or
the
the
button.
other, it's 100%.
The Mad Board
Hadrian's.
Gamer button you didn't wear. Would you rather play Imperial Settlers or wear my damn button?
button.
You'd probably rather play the game.
I think Imperial Settlers is
I'd
good.
rather wear the button.
I like the game, like the show. I really like Imperial Settlers. I just think now that I know Hadrian's Wall exists, I don't ever want to play it again.
I'll tell you. I'll give you a bold statement. I think Imperial Settlers art is better.
That's not bold. That's true.
I'm kind
Yeah,
of sick
I
of the
agree with
Hadrian's
that.
Wall.
I
Shem
agree
Phillips
with
is
that.
fine. I get it. Is that his name?
He doesn't do the art in this one. I don't think.
Oh, never mind.
Wait, no, he didn't do the art before. The Miko did the art. Shem Phillips was just the designer of the.
I don't like the I don't
Of the-
like
of the
cover
Kingdom.
that.
yeah,
games.
I agree
I
with
like
that,
the
but
whimsicalness
that's how
of-
good the game is because who cares?
Imperial Settlers
About the
definitely
art.
has better
It's
art.
so
I like Imperial
good.
Settlers art, but
Yeah, I do too. I like Imperial.
I even
Settlers.
like Imperial Settlers components better. Like the who cares?
But either
It
way, the
doesn't
game
matter.
is so stupid and dumb, and Natalie fucking hates it. And if you want to watch a live burning of it, we're going to go on Instagram right now.
I enjoy the game, but I can only if you've played Hadrian's Wall, not played Imperial Settlers, don't even bother. I think if you've played Imperial Settlers, haven't played Hadrian's Wall, maybe don't buy Hadrian's Wall because it's gonna lay off
Yeah.
Imperial Settlers for you. And then it's funny because they're not even that similar, but they have too many similarities for me that I would never play Imperial Settlers ever again.
So if you want it,
Welcome to the Board Game Beatdown.
yeah, if you want it,
This
just
is
message
Imperial
Ryan and he'll
Settlers.
sell it to you.
Yep, you
He's
can
got a whole bunch of
have it
boxes going on.
for I bought it for like $35. You can have it for like $25.
And just or see it in the next giveaway.
Or it could be in a giveaway, a future giveaway, because it is a good game. I don't want you to get me wrong here. I like
it is.
I do like the
Natalie,
game.
don't backtrack.
I've played
You
it like
fucking
10
hate it.
times.
It's a terrible game.
I don't
It's
hate it.
probably the worst game you've ever
I
played.
I would
is
much
the
rather
worst
play
game you've ever played.
Hadrian's Wall.
It might appear on her list later.
Yeah, this is the worst game I've ever played.
I didn't even think about that for that list.
You think it could be on there? Who cares, Jeff? What do you have after this?
Okay, so I haven't been playing shit lately,
Cool.
but I do have an update. Last Monday played a game called Heaven and Ale again.
Oh, I heard about. I know how this ends.
You
I'm not
do?
gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna give it away.
So in previous plays of Heaven and Ale, if you remember from episode something,
Negative
like
points.
11 points.
Negative.
Oh.
yeah, no, 11 I think would be
was
my
there.
highest. No, I think 12 was my highest. I
And
think
what
I
was
got,
the winning score in that game?
like 60? Right. So I'm not good. And I reached out and I was like, what is wrong with
Yeah,
me?
why
I don't
can't I
know.
play this?
Ben and Em were like, haha, you suck. But Emily did tell me that they've played games where they both scored in the 20s. They've played games where they both scored in the 60s and 120, right.
How can that happen? Is there random? Is there a lot of randomness in this? game?
There is a lot of randomness because the tiles come out in random order.
Got it.
That's difficult to kind of wrap your head around and plan for. We played on Monday and I won.
Whoa!
really?
With 12 points?
Yeah, I played by myself. No, I played a multiplayer game by myself. No, so we added in the expansion, which is called like the beer and like tracking. I don't know what it is. Trailer. I don't know, Google it. Anyway,
It's beer and tracking.
it's
You're right.
basically an extra. It's like a
Do you want me to look it up?
sideboard, okay, and there is a dice that ends up on this.
Kegs and more.
Kegs and more.
Oh, okay.
If you
Beer and
remember the
tracking.
game, you're moving around,
like, yeah,
sort of
that's
like, Takedo or something. You move as far as you want forward, but can't move backwards. You take a tile, you add it to your board. This little thing adds a second board where there's a dice on it, and if you land on the dice space, you get to move this wagon around and deliver beer. Okay, so even without that board, if I had taken my points away from that board, I still would have won.
Wow.
Everybody remove that. Here's the thing. I don't know how I won. I'm not convinced that I understand what I did differently from game 1 to game 2.
You sneezed and moved your score point marker.
Yeah, I just
had
kept
50
like,
points.
yeah, I
Or
just
did
kept
they just have an
stealing
off day?
things.
Did you play with 4 people?
I played with Dave and Bill, so Joe wasn't there to ruin the fun. So maybe it was Joe leaving. Maybe he.
You hear that, Joe?
Yeah.
Go back to Texas so Jeff can win more.
Yeah,
often.
every time I play Heaven and Ale, Joe, you can't be there. But it was again, it's a game I like, but I'm like, why do I like it? I don't know how I did well, but anyway, that was an update. I won Heaven and Ale in your face.
Nice.
In your face.
Boom.
Dude, that's sweet.
So do you like it better?
Yeah. How does that
I don't
change your
know.
opinion?
I don't know. I think if I would have gotten destroyed again, I would have been like, all right, I can't play this game anymore. Like I can't continue to get 6 points in a game where people are winning with 60.
Yeah.
right? And like and
Yeah.
and actually enjoy it.
I'm
I was
shocked you
like,
came back to it.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I had to. It was Bill's pick.
Yeah, but I mean, I would honestly sometimes I could see you being like, if you're going to pick Heaven and Hell, fine. I'm not going to show up tonight.
Yeah. And that might have been the next couple steps, but maybe I figure something out, or I just beat somebody else to a couple of the point tokens or tiles, and who knows? Maybe next time I'll score 5. And
Yeah, but you always got that one win.
I always have the
over
one.
Bill.
You know you have
Yes,
potential.
I have one.
Yep, you
to
did
win.
it.
So
You nailed it.
Because we haven't been playing a whole lot of games, I want to talk about a puzzle.
I want to talk about a puzzle.
You guys like puzzles?
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? No.
No, me
But
either.
You don't
since
like
this,
puzzles?
not really. I mean, I don't care about them that much. I mean, they're fine. But hearing about this thing that Jeff's been doing, that's all I want to do.
So I don't do puzzle. I'm not like, fuck yeah,
Puzzle man.
Yeah.
Right,
me
but
too.
you don't
do
wake up like
see-
Jack and go, puzzle time.
Yeah. Like I do see people on Instagram and just social media doing puzzles. I think that's like a maybe board game adjacent hobby sort of. I think
Yeah.
people who play board games might like.
It's getting popular, it
Yeah.
seems like.
Yeah.
And I think because puzzles are evolving into maybe something that isn't boring as shit. Like this is an interactive puzzle. So this is called Quezzle. Quezzle?
Awesome.
Quezzle. It's like quest and puzzle smushed together.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
It's made by this
Quezzle.
company called
Quezzle.
Unidragon Puzzles. UNI Dragon Puzzles. And they make a bunch of puzzles, but the one I want to talk about is Quezzle.
Quezzle. Oh, they make more than just Quezzle.
Quezzle. Yeah, so they make this Quezzle that I'm going to talk about, and then they make a whole bunch of other puzzles shaped like different stuff.
So those are, other ones are just regular puzzles, but this one has like the extra thing.
Yes, this one has the
Adjacent.
quest with the puzzle. The Quezzle.
Okay, I want to
The
do this.
Quezzle.
I want to do this really badly.
The Quezzle. The Quezzle.
Quezzle, 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 Quezzle,
Kwanzaa.
Quetzal. The Z's are like TS's.
Oh.
Quetzal.
Quetzals.
Pretzels.
Quetzals.
Yep, you got it.
So Quezzle, Quezzle, right? They are, and this Unidragon, they make wooden puzzles, or like, wooden-ish, right? Like they might be part wooden, part IKEA wood. You know what I mean? But they're
Particle
Yeah.
board.
They're not
Particle wood.
They're not the
particle
like
wood.
fake cardboard,
Right.
flat, normal.
Yeah, it's
pieces.
like thick.
It's thick, it's nice, it feels
two
good on your finger
Cs.
pads. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also, all the pieces are like weird shapes, which I also love because it's not just the standard like hole and peg pieces.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally pieces that are shaped like a bird or a guy holding a hammer, or it's like they're all.
Does it make it so much harder?
It makes it so much more fun.
Oh.
Like it's just more fun. I feel like I've had kids who walk into my room. So spoiler, I'm doing it with my class.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
students are coming in and they're, oh man, come on.
I'm sorry. I
They're-
cut that
What
out.
did you just say?
Nothing. Keep going.
He insinuated that I was doing it with my class.
Well, he did. I just said
No,
gross.
you insinuate. No,
You
I said words about a puzzle.
He said doing it with my.
Doing the
For
puzzle.
the record, Jeff is doing a puzzle.
I'm
with
doing
his
a
class.
puzzle. Thank you.
That is all he's doing.
Jeez, oh, Pete, when I'm fired, I guess I'm going to have to come here. We're going to need more Patreon backers. If you would like to
You'll have
support
more
me in my
time to do what you
unemployment because
love.
Ryan got me
You have more
fired.
time to do what you love, man.
He won't be able to pay for it.
Yeah,
I'll
shit.
support him. He can come over and I'll pay him a modest salary.
That's wonderful. Work in Natalie's department. Oh my god.
They'd hire you in a
So
second.
anyway, I have this freaking puzzle. It's called Quezzle. And so all right, so let's start at the beginning. They sent me 4 250 piece puzzles, which when I told you guys about it, you thought it was a 4,250
pieces.
So 4 separate puzzles, all 250 pieces each, all cool, unique, those wooden shapes.
Yeah.
And then once you put all the 4 of them together, they then smush together into a giant puzzle.
Oh, so you have to leave them all set up
You
to
can
get this to work.
Is that
you
what you're
can.
doing
No,
at
you can
school?
do yes. So
Okay.
I brought like this foam board in, right? And we did the one puzzle, and then I moved the puzzle into the other side, and then we did the next puzzle, and we did the next puzzle.
So they
next
create
puzzle.
like a panoramic.
It
kind of
creates like a 2x2.
Yeah.
So
Ah.
puzzles 1 and 3 are the sky with full of hot air balloons, and then 2 and 4 are like the city underneath it.
That's
And it's this
cool.
like kind of fantasy
cool.
city, right?
Yeah.
And it was so fun.
thing. Really?
It was better than doing a puzzle. So once you get this all done, each puzzle themselves come with like a little, it almost looks like a little newspaper.
Okay.
A little newspaper. And in the newspaper, it has like this little article, and it's like the polar bear escaped from the zoo. And then on puzzle 3, it's like find the polar bear. So then you're kind of playing a Where's Waldo on this puzzle that you just made to try to find where the polar bear is.
Do you like mark
Or-
something
It's not
off?
obvious.
You can if you want in like the little book. No, it's not. They're like it's like a zoomed out. The things are like tiny, so you're kind of like looking. Think micro macro
You need
or
the
something
micro,
like that.
macro,
Where you're
magnifying
like
glass.
searching through, or it's like on the first puzzle, there's this like path that you have to follow, and on one of the balloons it says start, right? And then you follow these like little arrows, and the arrows lead you to something. I don't want to like spoil anything.
Right.
There's also an app you can download that runs like this augmented reality. And if you hold it over the puzzle, it shows like birds flying through, and then that gives you a clue to something that was in your little newspaper. So it's really like you put it together, which putting together the puzzle was fun. And then there's these like little mission challenges, where's Waldo sort of stuff on the puzzle itself.
Wow.
Which I think would be a blast for the kids.
Yeah.
So I'm excited
They love
to
that
bring
stuff.
it to you.
Yeah, they did.
So we finished it. So we finished all of these, and then we put them together. And what's also really cool is if you buy the set of 4, it comes with connector pieces.
I was going to ask you, can you put them
so
together?
you can just slide them together if you want, and then they just kind of they might shift.
Sit next to each other.
But
yeah.
there are 9 connector pieces that you then essentially remove pieces from the board, from the puzzle, that then you put
so
a
it's
bigger
not an
piece in
edge,
to
it's a
connect it.
connector.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like you take off the one edge and you connect the two. So
Yeah.
and then there's one in the middle that's bigger. You take out those 4 middle pieces and stick them. So then it kind of is together, right? There's no
So if you look
shifting.
at that beforehand, you could see, oh, here's the 4 middle pieces I need.
Yeah, you kind of know, because if
Yeah.
you're doing the 4 puzzles separately, you like you know what the corner is. But if you do them
Yeah.
all together, there could be.
So
like
what makes it more fun putting it together than a
I
regular
think
puzzle?
the pieces, man. I don't know if like the pieces being different. As you're looking at it, you pick up a piece and it's shaped like a woolly mammoth.
Well,
and
you're
you're like,
probably
this
not
is
like,
cool.
oh, it's a puzzle piece. You're like, ooh, a woolly mammoth. I wonder where this goes.
Yeah,
Instead
and
of
then-
just like another puzzle piece.
Is
that
it
looks
cool
like
when
a
you're
puzzle
like,
piece.
the woolly mammoth goes next to the pelican? Like,
Yeah,
how
it's
did
cool,
that
and they like
work
fit
out? Is it
together.
like that? What-
There's also in these there's like extra pieces, and these extra pieces put together into like a little wooden animal. Like you get a bird for the first one, and that's like what the augmented reality does. So you have this like little wooden bird that you put together with some of the extra pieces. It's fun. And then one of my students dropped it on the ground. I didn't tell you guys that.
So it just shattered?
So we have 1,000 pieces done separately.
The whole thing.
Wait, how
they
the
dropped?
fuck
And we
they
put
do
it. So
that?
here's what happened. It's she.
Do you wanna
she
work
felt
there
really
anyway?
bad. I know. So
Did you
it was
smack a
on.
student?
We put them all on this like trifold poster board. Okay, so it like goes in the middle, and I folded it up.
Okay.
So that was going to be the way I was going to like transfer it back home to take some pictures, post about it on Instagram, blah blah. So we put it all together, folded it up, and this girl came into my class, and she sits at one of the front desks, and she like picked it up and moved it and thought it was just like
Oh, and it
poster board.
slid right out?
No, and she just like tipped it and like put it down,
Like
and it
not
just fell
knowing there
straight,
was,
not
like,
knowing there was a
something
puzzle in there,
fragile.
and she was like, "Oh my god,
What
I'm
have
so
I done?"
sorry." So now we are redoing.
She has failed.
Yeah,
How long did it take you to do the original?
it
4?
took, so the first one, my students were kind of like doing it slowly, and then when they started to have fun, the other two, like we got puzzle 4 done in a day, like
Yeah.
a couple hours. They have like 15 minutes in the morning homeroom. Someone came to my seminar and like finished it up. It was like 2 days. It was done. The first one took probably a week of them just kind of like
Yeah.
doing it little by little, and then they were
then they
like,
got a
"We need
taste
this,
for it.
we need it," and then we're like,
They
"Keep
got
going." They
the
were like,
hunger.
The third one got done, and I like, didn't bring the fourth one in the next day, and I got like threatened. I was like, "I'll bring it. Don't worry, relax." So then it all fell over, and now we're redoing it as now one gigantic 1,000-piece puzzle.
Was it
Oh,
like
no.
completely
Which is way
destroyed?
harder.
Was there some chunks
Okay, it was.
together?
I would say
still?
75% of it was
Oh.
ruined. So there was
Did you
still some
watch
pieces
it
that were
happen in
together.
slow motion? Or did you hear
I
it?
came in and I was like,
What happened?
"What?
Oh, it had already
I
done.
probably was like, I honestly think I was like, what the fuck? I don't know if I like, they don't care. I was like, what happened? So we put them all back on. I think we have all the pieces. We're not quite done yet. We're about 80% done.
Oh my god.
But it's way harder when you're doing 1,000-piece puzzle instead of a 250-piece puzzle because,
it got destroyed.
yeah, oh, they know because they've been coming in and working
Were they
on it
like,
now.
What
Yes.
the fuck,
They were like,
Julia?
They were like, tell me who it is. I'm gonna kill her.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
They were
So she's in, like,
they were
witness
on a
protection
witch
now.
hunt. Yeah, they were on like a witch hunt. I'm like, I swear she
was
feels
an
really bad.
accident.
She
She's in the Swiss
apologized.
Alps.
Yeah, she's gone now.
Yeah.
But
She
it was
switched schools.
so. It's harder doing 1,000-piece puzzle. So if you're like, oh, the
Yeah.
250 is easy, you could just dump them all together and do a 1,000-piece
Yeah.
puzzle because the balloons are now in half of the puzzle instead of just a quarter of the puzzle, right? So it's now,
Yeah.
now I have a whole bunch of sky pieces that could go here or here.
No, thank you.
right.
That does not
The
sound
250 is very manageable. The kids would have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's
if they were all like mixed up like that, like would you have any idea what, like if you wanted to split them up and they weren't put together, you couldn't?
well,
You know what I mean?
I
Like if there's
can
not like
now.
a
So here's
thing
what I
that
did.
says like this is puzzle A. this
no. So you'd have to put them together. You have to
Yeah.
put the puzzle together. So what we're going to finish the puzzle,
Oofa.
and then I'm going to put the pieces back in box 1, 2,
Right,
3, and
right.
4, and then give them to you guys.
How
but-
big is the final thing? Like could it fit on this table?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I
okay.
measured it. It's like 24 tall by like 40. It's like maybe
Oh, okay.
2 by 4, sort of. It's kind of big,
so it's not
but it
like
would fit on here.
ginormous.
Yeah, I would still maybe recommend like putting it on a board. Then you can move it.
Yeah.
But so you can go on this Unidragon website and you can buy this Quezzle if that's cool. You can buy it in parts. So you can just buy part 1 if you want.
It's available now.
It's available now. You can go on there. You can also use MAD10 as a promo code.
Oh my God, he's got his own promo code.
So that'll save you
See,
10%.
you don't need this job, this school job.
Yeah.
Yeah, who needs a real job?
Who needs
when I
a
can just
real
get
job? When you
10%
can have
off
10%
puzzles.
off Quetzal.
So you can get 10% off. MAD10 is the promo code. You can get it on any of their products that they have, so you can buy them individually. The downside, it's a little pricey, right? So for a 250-piece puzzle, it's like, I want to say like $30-ish, which is a higher end puzzle. You're getting a better product and
yeah,
that
it's like
kind
made
of
of
stuff.
wood and it's not puzzle shaped.
So the whole
got a
thing is
game.
like, the whole thing is pricey if you want the entire.
Yeah.
So
4 pieces.
they all 4 of them have the same type of afterward where
Yeah,
you're
so-
looking.
Yeah, so
for
if you just
stuff
buy the
inside.
one and you just get this balloon sky, or you just want
You
the
can
city
still
thing,
do the
you can
quest
still.
part.
You're
there's-
not really
Each
missing
of them
out.
come with their
so
individual
there's 4
quests.
and then another quest for the whole thing.
Yeah. So
And then
you
how
could,
far did you get? Like, is there a ton to do?
it broke the day the day after we finished it, so we haven't done a lot of it. But some of the kids have just looked at it while they were finishing. It was like, oh, here's the 3 animals that escaped. Here's the dragon. Here's the princess, and like did some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it was very fun. It's less fun the second time with the 1,000-piece puzzle.
Yeah.
But they have like owls. They have like Harry Potter theme. You can just get a bunch of like different ones if you don't want this.
Oh, okay.
There's like, the 170-piece one that's shaped like a peacock or something.
And it
you can
doesn't
just get that
have
one.
the game part.
And it doesn't have the game. It's just a cool puzzle, wooden pieces,
Different shaped.
different shapes. Yeah, and then it's also not like this Quezzle one was a rectangle, but the owl one is not like
It's like an
there's
owl
no
shape,
edges,
right? Yeah.
right? It just
Okay.
it feels like a different puzzle. It feels like high class puzzling.
Yeah.
Because my mom used to do puzzles all the time. She still does puzzles. I go to her house, there's a puzzle there, and I remember at her house it was always kind of like, here's a building, right? And you're then putting it together. Or here's like junk on a table, and that's what the puzzle is.
Right.
This just felt, I don't know what made it feel so cool, but I'll give it to you guys. Maybe you can,
It sounds high quality.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you can
Like classier.
verbalize it better. But it's just like the pieces were cool. I was excited to like see the thing as you pick them up, and you're like, this is shaped funny. Like
Yeah.
I'm not used to this kind of fun
Seems more
puzzling.
challenging.
Yeah, I think the kids will enjoy it. My students have like loved it. I've had kids who, will talk to me about the puzzle. Like they don't
Yeah.
talk to me about other stuff sometimes. They talk to me about the puzzle. Where's the puzzle?
Well, I don't.
What happened to the puzzle?
You're like, this is game club.
I
Enough of
like
this puzzle
it.
crap.
Yeah. I
So- That
like
sounds
building
fun.
puzzles, but my biggest problem with them is like I spend all this time building this puzzle, and then I'm like, well, I don't have space to just keep it here,
then some stupid
I'm
kid
just gonna
knocks
have
on
to
the ground.
immediately destroy it, and I feel like, well, what was the point? Like I did it, and I'm like, cool.
The journey,
I'm
not
just
the
gonna put it
destination.
back.
It is. It's
I know.
more of like I did it. Great.
But see,
But I don't
this
like
one
that.
has a destination.
That's what I mean.
has
That's why I'm
something.
excited about this, because after it's done, you can do something else with it before you
Yeah.
take it apart.
And it's not like the most amazing.
I know.
Like
but
it's not
still,
like, oh my God,
there's
you're
like
so
a
enthralled
reason
in it. But
to
there's
get
stuff
to the
to do.
end, besides just like, oh, that looks nice. Okay, I'll put it back. Like
That's what the puzzle industry
Yeah.
needed this.
Yeah. So
I was looking at the
Yeah.
statistics for the puzzle industry, and they were tanking hard. And now Quetzal came out,
Quetzal.
and they are
Quetzal.
Yeah.
It's breathed
So
new life.
Unidragon puzzles. If you go to their website or if you message me and
Mad 10.
I can send it to you. Mad 10 is a 10% off promo.
Matt, look at you, your
Booyah,
first promo
promo
code.
code.
Do you even need us anymore? Why are you even on the show?
I just got fired
just-
from my regular job.
I guess
via
you need us
text
still.
message.
You need
Yeah,
us still
now
because
I-
we're rolling in the Patreon
Yeah.
money. That's just going to go right to Jeff's bank account. So while we were talking with our dear friend Julia at Hobby World at Gen Con, one of the absolute highlights of the convention for all of us except Natalie, who just hated it, I decided to pick up a game I had been looking at called Cutterland. I haven't heard this game get any buzz, and I wasn't too sure why, because it looked really cute and kind of like a fun novelty. It's an I cut, you choose game, which I love, and it takes that quite literally, as you are quite literally cutting pieces of the game board and distributing them to your opponents each turn until you have all built a landmass from these cutouts. You then score points based on a number of different character icons that are all on the different pieces that you chose throughout the game. And the most victory points wins. I like the theming and the art of this, which is like that 16-bit Super Nintendo kind of style. And the theme is like fantasy monsters and stuff. For instance, the Kraken devours all creatures next to it, scores points based on how many it eats. The goblins score points for how many of them you have in an area. The centaur scores points for how many squares of the area it's in. The dragon scores points if there's exactly 2. The turtles score less points the more of them you have in an area. And the toads are just simply -2 victory points. You need to arrange your land that you get, these cutouts, in such a way that allows your krakens and dragons to devour characters you don't want in your land, like those additional turtles or dragons or toads, but you need to make sure that they don't eat your point-making characters, so you have to be a bit mindful and clever with how you arrange everything. There's also walls, bridges, and towers you can use to help attach or detach areas and protect your creatures from being devoured, and the entire thing is over in, 25 minutes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ish. Okay. So I liked this game a lot. It gave me, there's not a lot of times where I buy a game and I feel exactly how I expected to feel after it. This game, I think I felt exactly what I expected to feel. I felt really good. I felt like
Really, really good.
really, 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 really good. I felt like this was, this gave me what I was looking for. It gave me the I cut, you choose mechanism, which is really fun. I really enjoyed you have these like character sheet or these sheets that are going to end up being the terrain used in all of your land. And on your turn, you basically take one and you cut it in such a way that there's the same number of pieces for the number of players you're playing with in the game. And so when you cut them up, you put them down on the table, and then your opponents take them, and then you get the last one, and then you put them in your tableau, your area, your building, your like tile laying area. And it's really fun making that additional decision point of, I can make this look like whatever I want it to look like. There was a couple of turns we had where I cut out this little 1x2 section that I know Jeff wanted to take because it was going to really help him, but it's only 1x2. So it's just that's all he's getting out of it, is these 2 little things.
And freaking Natalie took it.
And then Natalie ended up taking it. But there's also another round where I thought Natalie was going to want this 1 tile. So I made it a 1x1. And then I gave this other land was like 4x3, that I ended up getting, it worked out like I wanted to. And it's just, there's really cool ways you can do to manipulate, by looking at your opponent's board, tableau, tile, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But you're looking at what they need. You can kind of tailor your cuts to maybe what they want, your land. You can tailor the cuts that you make to what your opponents might want in their land, but you don't want so much. But you kind of like, I'm putting this out here to entice you to take this one because this one's way better for me.
Yeah.
There was one moment where I was like, okay, Natalie's going to want this for sure. Jeff's really going to want this. And that leaves all the rest for me. And they probably won't take all the rest because it doesn't help them as much as the littler ones do. So I liked those kinds of decisions where you could kind of manipulate your cuts to,
I did it in a way
how
too,
those
where
helped you.
Like there's some good and some potentially bad symbols on there. So I tried to make it more even. So like one piece wasn't giving you a bunch of good stuff and one piece was giving you a bunch of bad stuff. I tried to put like some good and bad together. So it's like, okay, you get that, but you also get this.
You also got to take this one.
So that's how I would try to cut it up to make it more like
but then
fair.
you always put all the stuff on the Kraken, and then Jeff gets the Kraken and gets all the points for the
I was
Kraken.
the only one who had a Kraken.
You had 2
Oh, but then
Krakens.
Ryan talks it up like he's going
Crackers.
to lose and then he wins.
Yeah.
was cool.
Classic Ryan.
Did I talk it up like I was going to lose?
well,
Yeah,
were
you're
ta-
like, let's total the points up and see how much we lose to Jeff by. Ha ha ha. Total it up. Oh, I
Jeff's
won
gonna
49 to
win.
47. So,
Okay. That may or may not have happened. The only
did.
person down here that can say that is
we're
Jeff.
recording.
Natalie, no, you're on my team. No, so I really liked the cutting aspect of it. I thought it was cool. I also they gave you a shitload of sheets. There's a shitload of sheets in here.
yeah.
And so, and even when you're done cutting all the sheets up, which I don't know that it'll be a while before that's going to happen. You can still use the ones you cut up. You don't have to throw them away. So this game is definitely not just a cut up and throw it away, because it's a weird concept when you first hear about this. You're like,
it's weird.
you're cutting up the game
Yeah, we're like,
and it's usable again.
Comes with scissors even.
And it's not a legacy. It comes with scissors at the very least. You can spend $20 and buy some scissors. Now this game's very light. It's over, like I said, it was over within about 25 minutes. And so it's not going to be anything other than probably a filler,
Yeah.
right? But I think it fits really good in that kind of thing. I don't have any other games like this. This is the only game I have like this. This is a cool novelty game to bring out to show some nons, I think. Like, what are we deciding to play? You know what? We're gonna take 25 minutes. We're gonna play this game called Cutterland. You're actually going to be taking scissors and cutting up the components and building your little space to get the most points. And I thought that was kind of fun too. Getting the stuff to maximize your points. I really want that land because then I can put it here. Oh, and then I get to take this wall to cut them in half so I don't lose points for that. there was decision points in it, and I just felt about it the way I expected to, which is I expected to like it, and I do. What do you guys think?
Natalie,
Clockwise.
we go.
I liked it too. I mean, I don't know if I even have much more to add to what you said, but yeah, this cutting it up with the scissors and that was the best part, is making the decision of how to cut up your card.
Cut it up.
And then the other most interesting part was like laying down the tiles to try to maximize your points. I don't know. Like you said, it was a good filler. It was a little bit different. It was fun. It was short. I liked it. I would like to keep it and keep playing it.
Awesome. Fun and short, just like me. What about you, Jeff? What do you think?
I'll tell you some
Short.
things.
Look at Jeff's here.
Jesus. Why am I here? What do I even do here?
He has got his promo code out. He doesn't need us. Why don't you try not to insult him so much? Jesus fucking hell. He's taller than you.
Everybody's taller than me.
All I am is nice to Natalie. All I am is nice to Natalie. Natalie gets what she deserves from me. She always starts it.
She does start it.
She starts it.
Look at her face.
Let me tell you about this thing at Gen
I know.
Con. I'm gonna.
We're unleashing some stories.
We're
We're unleashing some
Great.
stories.
So
he's been waiting for you to really go after him.
At Gen Con, we
like revenge stories.
there's this room where we sit at a table and you can eat. It's a new room. Remember this room?
Totally. They cut apart some of the vendor
massless-
hall.
Yeah. The
Which I
massless
liked a
area.
lot. I thought that was really
Yeah.
cool. Maybe a little too big, but it was really cool.
Yeah, I hope they keep it. And I went, and Joe and I were going to go walk back to the car.
I don't even know
I
what
don't
this
even
is.
know.
Oh, yes, I
And-
do.
Yeah, you wouldn't,
Oh, yeah,
Natalie,
I do.
because all the meanness just rolls
Yeah,
together
that's
into
right, I
one
remember.
shape of you. Now, I walked away.
I remember this.
Okay, and Joe and I were going to go to the car. Joe was like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Okay, so we walk away, and I walk back to the table because our good friends Amanda and Wally had sat down, and I would like to say hi.
You can't, man. Not
So I
without, not
walked
without
back,
this.
and Natalie goes, "What the hell are you doing here? I thought you were going to the car."
Say it like that.
Yeah, you did.
Not.
I think the word hell
hell
wasn't
are you
in there.
doing
That's what
you
you
were-
think.
That is
I
not
don't know.
supposed
I think you were more like, what are you doing here?
Like,
I guess I'll just say hi to Amanda. Oh, Ryan, you're not short. Don't worry. Jeff's here. You're taller than his short ass. He's ugly too, so fuck him. You're fine. You're the best looking one at this table, Ryan. Thanks for doing the podcast. Shit. Cutterland sucked. Don't buy this stupid game. Damn.
Oh, Natalie.
What am I doing?
They are
here?
revenge stories, by the way. They're revenge stories.
I know it's totally.
You go after him. He's like, oh, yeah?
I have him.
Look what I got written down.
makes me sound
Do it
so
again.
much meaner
Do it
than it
again.
actually
Natalie.
was.
No, we have proof now that you just called me short and ugly right here on the show.
I called you ugly.
I'll listen back. We know. I'll listen back.
And ugly. I think short
Listen back.
implies
Without even you had insult in your brain ready that Jeff was short. You're like, oh, it was short and fun. And Ryan's like, just like me. Well, not really, like because Jeff's even shorter and he's right here.
I was trying to take the shortness onto myself. That's crazy.
What are we talking about?
All right, man. So tell us what you hated about Cutterland.
It was fine.
Think of Julia.
I think
of
you should
Julia.
remove
Don't
the
think of
scissors.
Natalie.
Get him away from Jeff.
Cutterland was fine.
Sister. What, so he's going to kill you?
Yeah.
Just stab them into your heart.
Cutterland was fun. I did like it. I thought literally cutting things was like that's the
game.
The mechanism is I cut, you choose, and that's what you really get to
not
do.
enough
literally
I cut you
cutting.
choose games. Have you cutting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not left-handed scissors, so if you're a lefty, you might need to get your own scissors. I thought the scoring was cool. I really liked that it didn't just surround having the same land types. Like a King Domino is, you need to match the same land types. This you really didn't need to.
No.
There was like these bridges
Most
that
of
you
the
can
time.
get and other stuff that you can create that
Yeah,
that really allows you
the
to connect some
centaurs
stuff.
was the only one that mattered.
Yeah,
for
it didn't
that.
really matter, and I kind of like that because I thought it was different than what I thought it was going to be. I liked that there was like no requirements for placement. You could just put anything wherever you wanted to. You can make one really long strip if you wanted to,
Yeah.
right? But
could.
not that you'd score anything. I did do some math. You get 160 sheets. If you play at the max number every time, you can play it 13 times.
Wow.
So
Because each
you get-
player gets 3.
because each player gets 3, so
Yep.
you use
Okay.
12 total at most in a game.
Okay.
You can get 13 plays with a couple sheets left
That's
over.
impressive.
And I'm sure there's probably a booster pet you can buy something else, but the game is
because the cutting
if you
is the most fun part because you can use them
Yeah.
afterward. But
But like
I
you said,
agree
yeah.
you would lose something there. Not
Yeah, I
cutting.
like the cutting. And then because the decision's already made for you when you already cut it and use the cut pieces. So you get 13 fresh plays at a max level. If you play with 2 or 3, you're obviously getting more because you're using less
Totally.
of those things. So
That's interesting though. That does kind of like go, oh, that's only 13.
I know.
But that I mean, how often is that going to... If you love this game, you're going to buy it again.
Yeah.
If you love this game enough to play 13 times and
it-
want to keep cutting,
how
you're just
much
going to buy it
was
again.
it?
It was not expensive.
Like
It was
20,
about
25
$20. Do you remember?
Yeah, I
It
think
was
it was
about
something
Oh,
20.
okay.
It wasn't too
13
bad.
plays for $20.
Yeah.
And
Or more.
scissors.
And you
Yeah.
get scissors.
And you get
scissors.
scissors.
You get a
So
scissors.
yeah, I enjoyed it, and the short, not funny, ugly one is done talking now.
Ugly one. I think he's saying the
You're
shortness
not
implies ugliness.
No.
Is what he's saying.
I'm the shortest, really.
That's what I said. You taller than her.
Don't try to backtrack here, Natalie.
Also,
We know.
are those like
Just go eat combos.
You can buy it for
scissors?
$17 on the Geek
$17.
Market.
Oh,
Go eat some combos, Natalie.
Yes, the scissors are. There's no thumb hole.
yeah,
in the
they're the
scissors.
same on both sides, so I think anyone can use them.
Can't
Even
anyone use
short
them
people
anyway?
Like me.
Well, he said they're not left-handed scissors, but I think it
I don't know what
doesn't
they are.
matter.
Yeah. No.
Are you left-handed?
No, I'm not. I am short though. Yes, you are. I know. I know.
Wait, you are left-handed.
What are you doing here?
Are you left-handed?
No.
You were just holding the
He
pen
does
with your
some
left hand.
things.
Sometimes I hold things with different. I have 2 hands. I can hold them how I want.
I don't ever hold a
Sometimes-
pen with my left hand.
Don't you like? Do you golf left-handed?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, you wouldn't know because you don't want to be on my team. Did I tell that story on the air yet, or what?
Probably.
Have I told that one on the show?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think I
I
did.
think you did.
Yep.
I did not even mean to set him up that way.
That was a good
I didn't
setup.
even mean,
Thank
but I
you.
got you back.
I was trying to have your back with the short
I
thing.
know. I was not.
He was backing you up for the
But I
left-handed thing.
didn't want. I wasn't like who's shorter, me or Jeff. But you let everybody know that wasn't what I was going for. Don't worry, you're shorter than Jeff.
I said
Don't
you're
worry.
taller than Jeff.
Oh my god.
Now everybody go around and tell how tall they are.
No.
No.
I'll start.
Okay. So those are the games we play.
I'm crying.
Okay.
I'd like to talk to you all for a moment about the Gateway Board Gaming Network, which you can find at www.thegatewaynetwork.com and the Gateway Network on Instagram. The sole purpose of the network is to help new or up-and-coming content creators grow by shouting each other out. If you go to the Gateway Network website, you will find other amazing content creators who are trying to grow as well. They are all amazing people who produce fantastic content. It's very exciting, due also in large part to the merch store there. Yes, we've got a merch store, which you can find at www.thegatewaynetwork.com/store. There you can find so many amazing items from a large portion of our members. Whatever kind of content you're looking for, the Gateway will have it. If you're a newer board game content creator and you're looking for a way to grow your content, please consider heading over to thegatewaynetwork.com to learn more. If you're looking to support the show, maybe consider flushing your money down the Gamecasters toilet by way of our Patreon page. There are 4 different tiers which will get you access to behind-the-scenes content, exclusive content, or content ahead of time. You will also get swag that nobody else has access to, and just the opportunity to help out and support a podcast which you sometimes listen to. We have amazing patrons. Thank you so much for your support, guys. If you'd like to donate to help us pay for things like hosting fees and that blank that Jeff's had his eye on, please head on over to patreon.com/the Gamecasters to help out. The Gamecasters Twitch account has relaunched and we're live every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday night streaming board game and video game content and having a blast talking to all of you. If you just simply can't get enough Gamecasters in your day, please consider heading on over to twitch.tv/Gamecasters and give us a follow and maybe a sub. I have the best time streaming for everyone and it's just a super fun place to unwind after a long day and watch someone who is trash at games play games. Come hang out and engage with me in a way you never thought you had to before, but I'm sorry, you do. Twitch.tv/Gamecasters. Possibly the best way to interact with all of us, though, is via our Discord server. If you go to the Gamecasters Instagram page, you can check out our link tree in our bio to get access to our server. It's a great way to engage with all three of us on a daily basis, as well as meet a bunch of like-minded, awesome people. So check out our Discord server. Why don't you step inside? Come on, it's warm in there. You think you found some grass, but nope, it's pubic hair. You wonder why there's so much underwear. You stepped inside of Natalie's Nook.
Today, on Natalie's Nook, it's the Thanksgiving edition. And we're going to talk about
Gobble.
thankfulness.
That's a turkey.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
One thing I'm not thankful for. No, just kidding.
You're not thankful for turkeys?
When you interrupt my nook. No, just kidding. I'm not kidding.
We're in the we're not allowed to talk portion of the
Okay.
Yeah.
You can talk very shortly. So kind of what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to.
Nice, Natalie. You're hilarious.
All right, let's start over.
Let's start over. Let's start out on
Everybody
left
take
foot.
a deep breath with their mouths closed.
deep breath with your mouth closed. Through your nose. Through your nose, you
Through your
stupid
nose.
idiot. Shut up.
Last time, we talked about kind of a heavier subject. This time, in America, Thanksgiving is coming up this week, and I wanted to talk about something positive and things. Basically, I want to talk about what we're thankful for in the gaming hobby, and also maybe kinds of ways that we've seen the industry giving back. And I think that we should just go around and take turns.
Okay. Sure.
Would you like me to go first?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
One
I
thing
wouldn't.
I am thankful for is that we've made a lot of new friends, especially Michigan friends like Ben and Em and Sam that we actually get to see and hang out with. And also many others who we not only talk to about games, but about life and struggles. And they're just like actual friends. And I think that's awesome. And we only would have met them through the board game community.
Totally. Oh, gosh, that's it? Okay. You want to go next or you want
Nope.
me to? Okay. So what I am thankful for is this hobby in general has given me kind of an identity. Okay. So like I used to be like the video game guy. Like I felt like that was kind of my identity. Like I was just like wrapped up in video games. I had like every console. I don't even know why, just because I was a kid and I liked video games. And then when I found board games, that completely switched. And in a lot of my circles, in life, I'm the board game guy. And I like that. I really enjoy that, and now, I do a podcast and, we have these walls full of games and it's kind of my thing, as all of us can say that too, of course. Mm-hmm. But I'm really thankful for this, something that I can immerse myself into that just constantly is growing and evolving. It's never going to get stale. There's like, how many games do I have down here? Hundreds, almost 300 games down here. Yeah. That will, if I didn't get one brand new game ever again, I could play these for the rest of my life and not be bored.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that eternal, long, the hobby that will probably never get old because these games are just all so freakishly different. We just played a game where we cut the components apart.
Right. We've never even done that. And you played like thousands of games.
So
basically.
I'm very thankful for that. I also want to echo what Natalie's, okay.
I didn't mention this part, but
Stop
I was
talking.
going to go around like, you don't have to just say it all at once.
Oh.
Like Jeff goes and then I'll go again. Another thing I'm thankful
Oh, so I should
for.
have multiple
Yes.
thankfulnesses?
So think
That's
about
my
it
number one
during-
thankfulness.
Okay.
Your turn. The rules might change as you're in the middle of this, just so you know.
Yeah,
It's kind of funnier that we don't.
Here's what I'm thankful for. I am thankful
We have to
for...
switch seats now.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you know?
The Nook is not
You
the
have
most
to speak
professional
into that
segment.
microphone.
Yeah, here, you can have
This
this.
is the thankful speaking microphone. Hello, I'm speaking into Ryan's microphone now. The thankful microphone. And I am thankful for having a podcast with two wonderful friends who
Does
are
he mean this,
kind
you
and
think?
nice to
Does he
me.
even like me?
And that not
I love
only do
you,
we get
Jeff.
to play board games, we get to talk about it.
Yes.
And
It's awesome.
do this thing. Like, what are we doing? We're sitting in a basement talking about board games.
Right. We just giggle and goof off for hours every other Sunday.
Yes. It's
Like, that's so
Crazy.
fun that the hobby can evolve into other things.
Yeah.
and sometimes people actually listen to us.
Sometimes.
And we would never hang out
last
this
time.
much if we didn't have this.
Natalie. Yes, it is. It's exactly what you mean. Because those are the words that you say. The words you say matter.
No, No! You're laughing. Let me explain.
Now we need to go back. You need to go, I'm not saying these mean things like you did 4 minutes ago. Are you hearing this, people? I better get messages backing me up.
Everybody, let me explain myself. I mean, because we have busy lives, because we have this scheduled thing, we get to see each other and hang out
Of
more
course,
often than
of
we probably
course.
would have, because we probably wouldn't make the time for it, you know? Shut up.
Did you do that on purpose? Because that was the
I
greatest.
did not do it on purpose.
that
I was
was-
trying to do it to be
You
nice.
also look directly at me.
Well, yeah.
And you were
I
like,
live with the other guy.
I wouldn't hang out with you if it wasn't for board games. Look how short you are. Why would I ever want to hang out with you?
Oh my God! This is the. I'm sweating from my anus. It's
I'm wearing
so
a sweatshirt.
funny.
I need to like
I know, it's
take
hot
this
down
off.
here all of a sudden.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Anyway,
so
back-
another thing. Wait, is it back
it's
to you?
my turn.
Shit.
Go
I thought we were
in.
like
I
going to
thought-
Jeff and then
I thought
snaking
your
around.
thankfulness was that you didn't have to hang out with me. Oh, is that?
No, I'm thankful we get to hang out. You dingus,
We would
geez.
never hang out if it
never hang
wasn't
out
for this
otherwise.
podcast.
I don't even know your name.
So funny.
Anyways, I'm also thankful for the hobby that connects Ryan and I, giving us a hobby that we love to share
Yeah.
together.
That's true. That's a good one. Can I?
Yes.
Okay. I think Jeff would also echo this with Devin. Playing games. I said that weird. Playing games with your SO,
Yeah.
it kind of brings a whole new level of acceptance. Like, okay, this is okay for me to do. And it just makes everything come full circle. When you are with your partner, right? You want to be able to share the things you're most passionate about with them. And you can't honestly always expect your partner to have that same level of passion that you do, of course, because that's just not fair. So if you find somebody who does, I mean, grab that and run as fast as you can, because it's fucking awesome. I mean, how great is it that you and Devin play games together?
It's great.
Right? I mean, is that not like, I can just play games with my
Like,
wife, the
can stay
person I want to
home, the
spend time
person
with
that I want to
the
be
most.
with all the time. Yeah.
I don't ever have to see Natalie if I don't want to.
Remember that ladybug that was flying around? It landed directly in front of you, right by your arm.
It's there.
Just want to let you know that.
It's brown.
It's a
They're not ladybugs. They just look like them. I forget.
Is it the Japanese beetle?
Maybe. Yeah.
oh no. Yeah, it just fell
They're
from the ceiling and
everywhere.
Is
landed
it
right in front
Sensei
of you.
Yum?
Yeah.
Is it Sensei Yum?
Flick it.
Yeah, so I would say
If it doesn't hurt it, just gets it away.
It's fine. Whatever, go on.
yeah, I agree with that. I think that I love playing games with Devin. It's like a date night at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a little form of like escapism. You can get away. Like you're playing a game, you can kind of get involved in this mystery crime game that Devin and I
Yeah.
are playing, and you're just kind of at home, right? It's
Yeah.
It's a cheap date night. Especially if you already have a few games, you could just play them over and over and over again if you want. You don't have to be obsessed like the three of us are and buy all the games that we want all the time. You don't have to do that. You
Right.
could just get a few games and play them all the time. Like Ben and M talked about playing Agricola 70 times,
Yeah.
which sounds miserable, 14th century farming. But you can just do that. It's a way to escape and not have to spend $100 at dinner and a movie and do that. I love having date night with Devin. That would be something I was thankful for also.
Yeah, doesn't that it makes everything so awesome.
Yeah. it is.
Do you want to go again?
I don't know. If you guys don't have any more, that's fine.
I can come up with some.
I also want to say I'm thankful for, and it's just awesome to see people that are so generous out there. My example that comes to mind first is Dan, Fat Guy Eating Burritos. He just seems to give away games or gifts games to people just because, And it's just like so incredibly nice and thoughtful, and it just seemingly like comes out of nowhere. And it's
He's
just
so
like,
nice and
yeah.
great that when a game so we just got Magic the Gathering, this like booster set in the mail. No
name on
name
it.
on it, no like anything. And the first thing I said, I was like, I bet this was Dan. Just because that's
The kind
who
of
he
guy
is.
Yeah.
That is who he is. And I'm very thankful for him. I wanted to echo what you said the first time. Where'd it go? Okay.
your lap?
I wanted to echo what you said the first time, which was the friends we've made. So we may not be the biggest podcast. We may not ever be the biggest podcast. Maybe we will. Let's be the biggest podcast.
Maybe ever.
We may not ever be the biggest board game podcast, but the community that we have, the listeners that we have who consistently engage with us, that we engage back with, I wouldn't trade for all the dice towers in the entire Tower of Dice.
Yeah, suck it, Dice Tower.
You know, seriously, I love our listeners, the people who engage with us, all the friends we've made.
Yes.
And I think that might be what I'm most thankful for. I think are all the people and friends that we've made along the way.
I agree. That's it. No, I do. I've loved meeting people on Instagram and just creating friendships over. It starts with a random comment about a board game, and then it's like, what else do you play? Where do you live? And then all of a sudden now, like you feel like you're like friends, right? They're about their kids and their job and their life, and it evolved from a comment on Sagrada to being a real friend and talking to each other about stuff. And I just love doing that on Instagram. On our Discord is great. It's a very cool community that I feel like is still sort of small. But I like that because it feels like
more intimate.
It feels like a family. Yeah. It feels like, I would love to just get all these people together in one place and just like meet everybody. And hopefully at some point, whether, if Gen Con gets bigger and people start showing up, it was amazing at this past Gen Con to even just meet 2 or 3 people that we
knew.
And
the crazy part, like we said in the other episode, is that we met them and I felt like we already had met them, but we hadn't. You know what I mean? Like in person. It's just so crazy. Really the last thing that I had was I'm just also grateful for a community that is open to like sharing thoughts and ideas in a positive way. Like I feel like the board game community, I mean, obviously it's about board games, but I feel like it is there's just so much constant communication and thought sharing and discussion. And I think that's so awesome, especially for people like us who just like to talk about stuff we love, who like to analyze things, who like, even just like another thing that comes to mind is the other Dan, right? Dan from the game table, is that his name?
Daniel, yes.
Daniel. Okay. So like, we played Zolkin and we didn't really like it, and then he loves it, and so he reached out to you and he was just like, why didn't you like it? I want to show you why I like it. Maybe you'll change your mind. And it's just like, even just stuff like that where he's like, I want to discuss this topic with you.
Yeah.
From my perspective.
These people are all just as passionate as we are.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously all of the discussion on Instagram and reviews and all that stuff too, but it's just like a really cool community in that way, and I'm grateful to be part of it.
I totally agree with you. 100%. You had something else you wanted to share as well?
Yes. So also, since it's the season of giving, I just wanted to, I mean, we all have not all of us, a lot of us have a lot of board games. And there's different ways to, if you want to get rid of some, there's different ways to auction them off or sell them or trade them or whatever. But if you also felt like you wanted to donate old board games, and want to give back, I have a list of some places that, obviously you'll have to contact them to see in your area if they will accept them, but a list of ideas of places that you could donate some board games to.
That's cool.
And they include things like orphanages and children's homes, therapy centers, family shelters, schools, children's hospitals, churches, retirement homes, youth clubs, homeless shelters, YMCA, local libraries, after-school clubs, some college and university societies, potentially your friendly local game store, and board game cafes.
Can people just come and drop games off at Thurston?
They could, yeah. They would just have to they could obviously let somebody know.
Yeah, obviously, I would just drive up and be like, here you go.
I got these board games.
But yeah, I think libraries being the biggest part, because even if they don't have a board game club, libraries and schools have stuff, right?
Sure.
Even if it's like Uno cards or something. Kids love playing Uno. Mm-hmm. Or just a deck of cards, something like that goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah, kids love playing Regicide.
It's funny, just a quick side note. I was looking on the Commerce Library website the other day because they have activities that go on, and I was just browsing through them to see if there's anything interesting for the kids or whatever. And there was one that was they have a magic night there, but you couldn't sign up because the group was full.
Oh wow!
And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Is it the Commerce area board gamers? Do you know that are doing it?
I don't know.
There's like this club that occupies the library a lot when we used to go to that
specifically
FLGS.
Magic.
Yeah. Okay. So it might not be them. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. That's crazy. Cool. Well, cool. I'm glad you gave us that list, Natalie. Thank you for that. It is now time for the segment of the show that's responsible for over 90% of our downloads, according to the analytics I made up for this joke, in today's Instagram inbox.
And now it's time for the Instagram inbox with the Mad Board Gamer.
All right. All the short ones here. Mad short board gamers here.
When you said that at first, I was like, oh, you didn't get very many responses.
No.
Her memory is that short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I
trying to forget
I followed Natalie's Nook and
Hey, I'm cool. It's fine.
I wanted
Do
to
what you gotta
ask
do.
the Instagram world just something they're thankful for in the board game community, within board games, something that it's done for you, that kind of stuff. Again, season of giving
Love
in
it.
America.
You get some good answers?
In America.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some really good answers.
Cool.
So let's move on.
Let's see. All right. So now we're going to do the game of the
But I'm not
episode.
going to tell you.
Yeah. So Swoozle, one of our
Dear
international friends. Like
Yes.
we've met people across the globe, which I would
Sure.
just
No,
love
this
to
is so
meet
cool.
at some point. I feel like when we meet Swoozle, let's just say when,
It will be
It's just gonna be
disappointing
like-
because he's just so awesome.
it's it's going to be like
He can't
surreal,
beat that
won't it?
level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or like when we meet Jim Gamer, like how cool will that kind of
yeah,
stuff be?
totally
So,
cool.
He sent me a longer one because the text box in the Instagram answer is
Yeah,
like you can
it
only put so
shortens
much
it,
stuff.
yeah.
So Swoozle said, I'm just generally so incredibly thankful for the hobby. It provides me a safe space to get away from all that troubles me. It gives me a chance to clear my head and just enjoy the moment, which I completely agree with. He also says,
hard to do.
I'm really loving the community as it feels like one of the most positive and supportive groups out there. Agreed. It's true. Especially the Gamecasters community. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Which is an absolute delight to interact with and be a part of, which is something I usually find very difficult and therefore makes me feel more special.
Wow.
You are
How
special.
cool is
You
that?
are you are
To
a
us.
special man.
Yeah. Mr. Measles said the friends that he makes while playing board games, which of course,
Me.
yeah.
Only talking.
Just
He's only
Ryan.
talking about
Yeah.
me. Yeah. The friend that I made.
Yeah,
named
well, the
Ryan.
opposite of that, CP Wilson says he's thankful for Jeff and Natalie and not Ryan. So that's the opposite. But that's
Yep.
predictable.
That's against the spirit, but
predictable.
whatever.
That is predictable.
Predictable, Chris.
Yep, thanks,
Thank you,
man.
Natalie, for defending Ryan.
Yeah.
So Chris Wilson also says a reason not to sit in front of the TV all the time and connect with friends.
Yeah.
Which is like so true.
That's
because
one of the. I
So
kind of
the
wish we
social
would have talked
part,
about that
yeah.
earlier
Yeah.
because that I think is we've talked about this in the past that doing an activity like watching TV or watching a movie, hanging out with friends is one thing, but when you're actually doing something together, like a game, and you're still hanging out and talking, it just elevates that social atmosphere like to the nth degree. So I like that one.
Yep. Oreos Our Life.
Kate.
Says, I'm thankful that my fiance bothers me less. Because Roberto's off playing games, it bothers Kate less. So that's great.
Wow.
Bad board game covers, who I'm not winning anymore of that challenge.
Oh no, well not for now.
Yeah, maybe
There's
I got
time.
a little cocky on the last
There's
episode.
time. You did good in the last two, I think.
I went
this
2
last
and
one.
3 this last. I went 1 and 2 last week, and I'm 2 and 1 this week. So hopefully I'm getting back
All right.
into it. He says just an insanely supportive Instagram content creators, which he is amazing. So it's like people
Yeah.
want to be supportive.
How could you
And
not
Easy to
support
support
this?
him. Yeah, he's like one of the best.
The Board Game Snobs podcast chimed in and said they're thankful for the Board Game Snobs podcast, which makes sense.
That's yep.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
right.
I'm thankful,
for them too. I said it second.
No, I
Damn
said
it.
Ah.
Ha, he said no, so I said it first. No, they're great.
Fantasy and the Flight says the same kind of thing to people, just the people you meet.
Yes.
Sam McMeeple says check DM, so I'll read that in a minute.
Okay.
Emily says friendly community. Everyone is ready to recommend a game or help each other in some way, which is so cool.
Yep. You got a little buddy.
It's I like that recommending a game part. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
also like hurt your wallet, but everybody's
Yeah.
ready to say like, oh, if you've played that, try this,
Right.
try this, and I'm
That's
like,
true.
okay,
That's a
okay,
good point.
okay.
And this is the
If you
hobby to
ever need
hurt
a
your wallet.
recommendation,
Yes.
you'll get just ask and you'll get a ton.
Yep.
People love talking about the games they love.
Yeah. Brush Monkey Ando. He said for the amazing games I get to play and even more so the amazing people I get to meet and talk to along the way. And he said, looking at the three of you, wink. Ooh, that's us.
Oh shit.
All right. QVO Games says all the creativity put into these awesome games that we get to play.
Yes.
Which is
Yeah.
also
That's
so cool.
another thing. You play these games, you're like, how on earth
Yeah.
did this person connect? Like you play a Vital Lacerda game, you're like, how does somebody's
Yeah.
brain think to do this? One person. It doesn't make any sense.
That blows my mind. People
Yeah.
are so. I'm like, how did you?
Genius
why?
level stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. Osgore, interacting with these crazy and awesome people. Of course, he says he also loves getting creative and like taking pictures and posting it on Instagram and just like
Yeah.
that kind of challenge is fun and almost a hobby in itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I think is really
Little
cool.
meta hobby.
We have Better Half reviews the conversation and the friendships that they've had with people all around the world. No, of course, right?
Yeah,
Miss
100%.
French Toast echoes that again. The people and the friendships that we've made, and I'm assuming she's obviously talking about
Has to be.
Natalie.
Yep. Only Natalie.
Because they're going to the mall together.
Emily.
That's Emily.
Oh, no, you and Emily are going
Yeah,
to the
her and
mall?
Emily are going to
Sam's
the
not
mall.
invited. Sorry, Sam. You can't go to the mall with them.
Well, when Sam moves closer to us, she's totally coming.
This
to
is
the
an A
mall.
and B trip. So this is your way out.
Yeah, it's a taco burrito conversation, not Joe's.
Oh my gosh, I've never heard that.
Never heard that one?
No,
I haven't either.
not sure.
Emotional
Nachos.
cyborg, Janelle, it says it brings people together that otherwise would have no business being friends.
Like Natalie and Jeff.
Which is not, like the two of us. Exactly. That's exactly right.
We were friends before this podcast.
But I think that's kind of true. Like, Swoozle lives in Austria.
Yeah.
Like, what do we have? Like, we have some stuff
Yeah.
in common, or like, we wouldn't normally talk to each other if it
Never.
weren't for
Yeah,
this, right?
totally.
How cool. Janelle says, restoring my faith in humanity. Seriously, it's a welcoming and supportive, energetic kind of community in
Very
the best way.
common. All these are share a very common thread, and it's like the greatest thing for humanity. If like all politicians heard this Instagram inbox, I feel like they'd be like, well, everyone in the world just needs to play board games, obviously.
Yeah, it's
Right,
just
yeah.
Because everyone is
make them
just so
accessible for everybody.
Yeah.
So Sam and Michaela sent me two different ones. Michaela says memories Sam and I have created playing board games, which is just very cool. And then all the people that they have met. And then Sam says three things, which they responded from two different accounts. So it's like, it's cute. They say the same thing. Michaela and I have the same taste in games. So I'm creating those memories. Getting to punch out pieces in a new game. He just loves the moment of
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
opening a new game, punching
Punching them
pieces,
out.
organizing it. He likes that.
You're going to want to get Luna Capital.
Yeah.
You're going to have a great time with that one.
And then he says the Gamecasters making the start of every week wicked entertaining.
Oh, Wicked. He's Boston,
Wicked,
right?
yep.
Bostonian.
Yeah.
And then
that's super
I
nice.
just got a message like an hour ago from Amanda and Wally.
We can get in
And-
there in the last second, Amanda.
Yeah, she was like, I missed it. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Oh,
Well, here's
no.
what
Yeah,
it was.
do it.
If you want
We haven't
to- this is-
recorded yet.
So this is
Yeah.
Main Street Meeple. This is Amanda
Yeah.
responding. Board games. She says being able to connect with friends through playing games that could otherwise be impossible. Meeting awesome people in the community who understand and also love the hobby. She's like, I know they're pretty generic answers, but they're true.
Yeah.
And
It is.
Again, I like
I
those
like
answers.
what you said, Ryan, about like, if everybody like heard this, because I mean, it's true.
Yeah, might they try it?
Everybody that we talk to, everyone comes from a different place, a different background, different lifestyle, yet we're all like, we have this common thing and we get along and we share it together, where there's a lot of other things where that could make us not ever talk
And it's
to
not
each
like
other.
we're all a bunch of furries. Board games is not something I think everybody could get on board with this.
if you're a furry out there,
we
that's
take
cool.
regular
That's cool. No,
showers.
I'm cool with
we,
that.
Like, we're
Well,
normal
furries are probably well bathed. And
Yeah.
if you are a furry,
What's
talk
the
to
thing
me.
where
I'll get
you,
into
like
that.
pretend to be like a dog or a
Yeah,
horse?
I think that's a furry, right?
No, furries where you just dress up like an
Dress
animal
up
and then you
like
bang
a-
each other.
But don't you pretend like you're the animals too?
Yeah, but I thought there was one that like you like someone walks you. It's almost like a dominatrix kind of thing where you like pretend to be like
don't
a
know what that's
horse.
called.
I think it was on like My Weird Obsession or
How
something.
may I horse you? I don't know. That's
Anyway,
crazy.
that took a turn. My bad. Thank you.
That's all good. I love a horse Pepsi. Horse Coke, okay? Nay. Oh my gosh. Again, those answers, I was hoping we would get those answers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
As opposed to
like, I don't know, more like I'm
jokes?
thankful I got Santorini for my last, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
it was
yeah,
more
yeah.
like I'm thankful for the friendships I've made, for the people I've met.
right.
You know,
'Cause that's what it's all about.
the
really.
podcasts I've heard. Yeah, exactly. So that's cool. In today's game of the episode, we're going to be doing the game we do when there's no time for a game to do. We've never gotten this one all the way. Never. But
And we won't
today
today.
is the day that we still don't do
Let's
it.
see if-
Maybe.
The
I
clash of Natalie and myself.
Yeah,
We've got-
are we not in sync today?
We've
I don't know.
gotten very. You know what? This is what's going to bring us together.
Maybe this will bring us together.
We have gotten very, very close before. Natalie, can you pull up a timer, please, on
I
your
feel like what 26
Like a
or
stopwatch.
28?
Yeah, 'cause you're gonna use
something
my
like
phone.
that.
Yeah, we've
Close.
gotten very close. So the way this works, everybody, if you haven't heard this before, is Natalie is going to have 3 minutes to try to get Jeff to guess 30 games. She can say whatever the fuck she wants as long as she doesn't say the name of the game in the title. So she has 3 minutes to do it. We have never done this before. We've played this, I don't know, 7 or 8 times now. We've never done it. Today is the day. On your marks, get set,
Oh, we're about to start.
go.
The game that Ryan and I played that we got from Gen Con last night.
Luna Capital.
The game that you played with Dave.
The Hunger.
The game we just played with Scissors.
Cutterland.
You're one of your favorite games that we like the cooperative expansion.
Orleans.
Oh, God. Skip.
I don't know what that one is.
You were right. Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Faster, faster,
Pass.
faster.
Hallertau.
Um,
I don't know.
Vita Lacerda Planet.
On Mars.
Yeah. Blue.
Azul.
Vita Lacerda, what's the lesbian?
Lisboa.
The blank and right that we are obsessed with.
Hadrian's Wall.
Yes. The party game with all the little cards with the words.
Pictures.
Nope.
Codenames.
Yes. Okay. Ah! Oh
you
no!
miss one?
Oh no!
Oh my gosh, something's
It
happening.
went blank.
Yeah, she skipped
Okay. My favorite game with all the tiles. And Coco.
Castles Burgundy.
No.
Istanbul.
Yeah. The one about Nixon, and there's a 2-player game.
Oh,
Not Nixon.
I'll
Yeah,
pass.
Nixon.
I'll figure it out.
Okay. The one with like I think it has like zombies or something, and there's like I don't know this game.
Dead of Winter.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. The one that Ryan's really good at with the 2 tracks that like pass each other. You know what I mean? And
Rajas of the
Yes.
Ganges.
Okay.
And then the other one's Watergate.
Yes. He's
Okay.
right.
The one, the stained glass one with the colorful dice,
Sagrada.
and then the one with the goggle things. The
Chronicles of Crime.
Yes.
My eyes, the goggles do nothing.
Oh, the goggles.
one of your other favorite games that it's
Underwater Cities. Trajan.
not like Alma Mater, but it's the other one.
Coimbra.
Yeah. Okay. The one that I don't like with the farms. The old school game.
Agricola.
No, with the farmings, and I can't figure it out, and it has
Oh,
tiles.
Carcassonne?
Yeah. Okay. This is a city in Greece, and it has
Santorini?
like the, yes. This is one.
Got about a minute left.
This is like a crimey one.
Crimey one. Detective.
And it's like has like a bunch of stuff, and you have to figure out the weapon or like the stuff involved.
Oh no, crimey one.
Oh, no.
Pass it.
Japan. Okay.
Deception, murdered Hong Kong. Next.
There was a giant one of these at Galaxy.
The Galaxy Trucker.
We're giving it to him. Go on. Keep going. We're giving it to him.
The auction one with like the
Modern art.
yes. Okay. This other big game that we all love. It has like space, and it has like a bunch of numbers in it in the name.
30 seconds.
Pulsar 2849.
Yes. Okay. This is one where like you get beer there, and it has like pieces that you can like put in the
Caverns of Teeth.
Yeah, I don't know how you got that. Okay, the Hadrian's Wall. What?
Imperial Settlers.
Got fired. Okay. Okay. The one with the big piece of paper and a bunch of stuff all over it.
Micro Macro.
Yes. Okay. The one with
White Penis Black.
10 seconds.
bees and like tiles,
It's called Bees.
maybe bees and bugs, and it has like these like
Hive
baked
Mind.
tiles.
Hive.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
Hive?
So
All right.
we have this tournament, and it has a little magnet and the blue thing.
Oh yeah, Class.
Yeah.
Time. You got to 30.
But
You
when you
skipped.
put stuff like Maracaibo, I do not remember anything about that game.
Well, I mean,
Maracaibo.
I know. So like,
how
I
do I
don't
know?
even.
How do I know what you
I
don't
don't
remember
even know
what you
what
don't?
to say about it.
Could have been like
What
the
did we
game
skip?
by your boy. Hardly knew her. You didn't know that was Visitor. So you missed Maracaibo.
Okay.
Lost Ruins
I
of
was
Arnak.
mad
you
about
skipped
that.
on for
All
some
I kept
reason.
trying to think of was
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, and I couldn't think of his name, and then I freaked
And
out.
I think she skipped Lorenzo El Magnifico.
Yeah, I didn't get that one.
did.
So those are we missed 3.
27.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, we were
Now I
there.
need a nap.
We're close. I don't know if that was our
I think our
best
record
score,
was like 28, maybe.
Yeah, I feel
but
like
that
might
was
have been
very
28. That was
close
good.
to it. That was very close to it. Here's your
Yeah.
phone back.
Okay.
That was good.
You did grand. Nice
Thanks,
job. Nice
thanks,
job. Okay.
thanks.
So the top 5 of the episode. This is another game. Top 5 if we were kind of doing about Thanksgiving, except we're spinning it on its head a little bit. And this is the top 5 games we're thankful that we never have to play again.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go in order. We're going to go Jeff, Natalie, me.
Okay.
All right, Jeff, whenever you're ready, take us
Games-
into your number 5.
Games I never have to play again.
You are so thankful for.
I'm so
that you
thankful
Don't have to play
that I never ever have to play Cards Against Humanity ever again.
That's number 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The game's not fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun anymore.
You know what's funny about that too? I was a huge proponent for that game when it first came out, and there was
Yeah.
all these threads on Board Game Geek about how people hated it, and I was always defending it. Like, no, it's great fun. I loved getting all the new stuff every time. Now I could not be harder. It's like Nickelback now. It's like cool.
Yeah,
I
don't-
hate that game.
I just don't want to play it anymore.
It's boring.
I'm never gonna suggest it. I'm never gonna want to play. I just am like,
Yeah, it's lowest common denominator humor.
yeah. It has its place. Like, it was hilarious the first 20 times we played it, and then it got less funny, and then it got less funny, and now I'm just like, I don't want to.
Yep.
I don't.
Yeah.
And if you have a group of nons and this is your game, then just keep at it. If you're having fun with it, go.
Totally.
It's just I don't ever want to play it again.
Yep.
And I'm thankful that I don't
Understood.
have
That's
to.
a great choice.
Yeah.
That's Cards Against Humanity. Natalie, what's your number 5?
My number 5
Oh boy.
is kind of random. It's this game called Silk because it just grossed me out. I hated
grosses you
the
out.
theme.
You did
the
not
game
like
wasn't
that
fun,
theme.
but I also hated the theme and it was yucky. And I just
Yucky.
get rid of this.
Yeah, you do. I remember you were like, ew. You thought it was a game on the Board Games are bullshit, basically. Silkworms. What is this?
is
Number
yucky.
5 for me is a game that we played that I was so excited about. And after we played it, I was like, I just really did not like it at all. It's a Terra Mystica clone called Clans of Caledonia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we played that. Did we even finish it?
I don't remember.
I think we did. We finished it. But I remember thinking halfway through, I was like, I want to stop. And I don't want to play this ever again. So I'm very happy that it's gone and we don't have to play it again. Jeff, what is your number 4?
My number 4 is a game that Joe had that we played called Extraordinary Pirates or Adventures.
Oh, right, the one
I don't-
Devin hated.
I remember.
I don't
want to
play it so much that I don't necessarily remember the whole name of it. It has to be
Dread
something with
Pirate
like
Roberts.
adventures, and it's like Extraordinary Pirates something. Like there's an
Yeah.
adventures maybe in there. But either way, it is just not fun.
Extraordinary Adventures Pirates.
Extraordinary Adventures, semicolon, dash, pirates.
Question mark.
It's not fun. It's a pick up and deliver game, which I don't usually gravitate to.
Same
and
here.
then it's also just not fun. It takes an eternity. We played with 6 people. It took the entire night of just, and your turn was 1 second, and everybody else was miserable. So I will never play that game again, and I'm very thankful for it. Thank you.
I like it. Natalie, number 4.
Number 4 for me is a game called Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Ooh, man.
We
that's
played
like-
that literally 2 times. And you don't ever want to play it again?
No.
Why
I
did you
hated
hate
it
it
both
so
times.
much? You did. I didn't think you did.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Wow, I'm bummed that I want to play
Remember,
it
we're
so
getting rid of it.
bad. Yeah, because of you.
I know.
Because
So I'm thankful that you let me get rid of it so we don't have to play it.
Okay. Damn, I didn't know you didn't like it that hardcore. Okay, number 4 for me is a game that we're giving to Jared the Meeple Mentor, and it's called Arch Ravels. I thought that game was the most uninspired, simplistic, boring, just non-fun crap of a game. I did not enjoy. It made me angry that a game like that made it through to development when a bunch of other games, I'm sure that are so much better than that, don't get greenlit or whatever it is. It's just, it's one of those things that I'm like, how is this a game?
It was very cutesy and cute, and the idea was cute, but man, it was just so like
Boring.
it was just like a regular.
That's why we bought it.
It didn't seem like a hobby game.
Yeah, agreed. Yes, I would agree with that. It seems like you would buy it at you would go like out to like Joann Fabrics and they would have this there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
here's a little game you can play about yarn, and I did not
It's like
like
we
that.
buy a
I am
game at
so happy
Kohl's
to
or
never have to
something.
play it again.
Right,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. And that's Arch Ravels number 4. Jeff, what's your number 3?
Number 3 goes along with Natalie's, and it's Pandemic the Cure. Or really
is that
just
the one with
like
the circles?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one I specifically hated the most.
The most.
But regular Pandemic is also
Also
a game
kinda
that I will
sucks.
never ever play. I don't like. There's nothing about that game. I would definitely try the Legacy version, right? I would try it. I'm sure the first few games
wanna
would be
play it
just
so
as
bad.
boring as regular
Surprise.
Pandemic to me is just boring.
Yeah.
I don't get into the theme too much. I think it leads to like some quarterbacking, and I don't even have to like.
That
It's like the
was
poster. It's like the
play
poster
or-
child
that's
for
my
quarterback.
biggest problem
versus,
with it.
you know,
I
at
was
least-
like, why am I even playing?
At least with the Defenders of the Realm or something like that, which has a similar, you know, move to a place, destroy something. You know, it's monsters. I get to roll a dice, and it's got some cool card. Like there's some different stuff to it that makes me would want to play that more than anything. Pandemic the Cure, I felt like was just we played it and it was so easy, and then it just was not fun.
Gotcha.
And I felt like you could just sit there and plan everything out, and I don't know. Just,
You're thankful
I
you don't ever have to play that again.
Yeah, I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Awesome. Natalie, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Sheriff of Nottingham.
Oh, good answer.
I
Fuck
remember.
that game.
I think right after I played this, you were like, "Okay, I'll just get rid of it."
Yeah.
Because I was like, I did not like this game. You know, I'm not the best at some of the social deduction games, and this one especially, I just felt like everything. I just couldn't figure it out. You know, like
Yeah, you have to lie.
whenever I
They do a lot of
lied,
lying, yeah.
everybody knew
Or you just
exactly
don't
when
lie
I was
at all.
lying, or I didn't lie, and they knew. You know, and then I could never figure out when. And I was like, "This is stupid." Like
I
I'm
didn't.
just
I didn't like that game either.
Yeah.
We played it at you
I'm
brought it
with
to
you.
game night once at Bill's.
Yeah.
And that's when we're like putting stuff in like a pouch, and you're
Yep.
like, I have 2 apples.
Yep.
Right.
And you're trying to sneak it past the sheriff.
people
but if you're
lo-
right
people
and he
love that
opens
game.
it, then he loses
Yeah.
stuff. And if
Yeah,
you're
people
wrong,
really like that game.
That was definitely one of
They
the
do.
games I
People love
remember
that
being
game.
like,
Yeah.
I would be.
I'm with
happy
you
to never
100%.
play
I
this.
did not enjoy it at all. Number 3 for me is a game that a lot of people loved, including Natalie, and I fucking hated it for a similar reason. I think if let's say Jeff played the beer game
Heaven and Ale.
Heaven and Ale this last time, and let's say he got 10 points again. You know, he got even worse somehow. Wouldn't you just be like, all right, enough's
Like,
enough.
this is enough.
Enough's enough.
Yeah.
Get this game out of my face. That's how I feel about this little game called The Fox in the Forest.
Oh, I like that game.
I know you do. I played this game with Natalie like 20 times in a row. I felt like when we got it, and I don't think I won.
She just
I don't even think I was
crushed you.
close. It's a game where you don't want to remember how I was like,
Yeah.
if you get first place, you get last place. But if you get last place,
Yeah.
you that's what it is. You don't want to win all the tricks.
It's bad to win all
But
of
that
them.
like goes against my brain for trick taking games. I want to fucking win the trick. I just want to. But if you win them all, you lose. You have to win like most of them.
Right.
If you win like none of them, you lose. You win all of them, you lose. You win most of them, you might just win.
it's
But
a
you
little-
can't do that because
little twist.
Natalie's on your other side of you, just beating the shit
Destroying
out of you.
you.
Fuck that game. Fox in the Forest can suck my dick.
Oh my god.
I'm
Whoa.
thankful that I don't have to play it again. Jeff, what's your number 2, man?
My number 2 is Tiny Towns.
Yeah, that was going to be on my list.
game's
Shout, but I knew
miserable.
Jeff's going to have that.
Yeah.
Fuck
This
that.
is no fun. Why is that fun?
It's not.
Yeah.
No one convinces me of why
Nope.
it's fun.
Because it's not fun. They don't
not
even
fun.
know.
Oh, this cube I get to put here? Okay, great. It's not what I wanted.
Nope.
Oh, this cube gets to
But
put
you
here?
have to.
It's not what I wanted.
But you got to
I-
now. Haha.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's my turn to pick a cube? Well, my board's already full.
Yep,
It's
can't do
stupid,
it.
and I don't want to play
I
anymore.
hate that game.
Tiny Towns is dumb.
That's a game I felt so much closer to you than I ever have in my life because everyone fucking loved
Everybody
it.
loves
And
it.
we played it separately. Do you remember
Yeah.
that? Me and Natalie played it and you and Devin
more
played
than
it.
once.
And we were
I
like,
played it like 5
we were like,
times.
what do you guys think? And you were like, we hate it. And I was like, oh, thank God, we hate it too. We hate it so much.
We played it back to back, and then I played with my students a couple times. I played it 4 or 5 times, and none of
Yeah.
none
People
of
are
the times were
wrong,
fun.
man. People are just wrong.
I remember it say, yeah, we were like played it and we are like, well, maybe there's something we're missing. And we played it again and we're like, no, it sucks.
No, it just sucks.
Was
Guess
not
what?
fun.
That's my number 2. Also.
Oh, boom.
Tiny Towns.
Nice. So tell us about Tiny Towns now. Number 2 for me. So I love word games. One that came out in recent memory that I love so much is Letter Jam. That's a
Yeah.
fantastic game. There was a word game I was so excited for by Tim Fowers called Paperback. And it's like a deck building game where you're building words. And I played it. Man, is that uninspired drivel. You're building, the words all the time are basically just like, that. Fact. You know what I mean? It's like,
Didn't we play it at the library?
yeah, we played at the library. There's like a cooperative version that you can play, and it still sucks.
Yeah, we were like, this
it's
blows.
not it's very uninspired. It's just not fun. I want a word game to give you like these awesome moments of like, wow, I can make these really cool. No, Paperback does not do it. It's not fun. If you think it's fun, it's not fun. It's funny. I'm like the main person who's like, there's a game out there for everybody. If we don't like it, you might like it. But no, these games, I do
ones
not
are
like
like,
these
you're
games,
wrong.
and I don't understand how anybody else could. Jeff, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is another game we played of Joe's called Unicornus Nights.
Okay,
That
good
was-
answer.
That was
that was the first game I thought of for this list.
probably one of the most miserable experiences that we've
Of
had
all
with
of
a
our
game.
lives.
And we played it, and the story was bad. That's when Dave was like, does anybody give a shit about what's going on in this game? We were like, no. And then we played it, and we were like, this was so bad. And Joe did some research on the game, and someone posted like, yeah, one person just has to stay back and send resources and pretty much just waste their
Entire
every
game.
turn doing
Yep.
something. And it's like, what a miserable
Why?
game.
Who designed that?
And
And I was
it
excited too
just-
because it's cooperative. I was like
yeah,
excited
it
for
seemed
that.
Cool. Like it could have been
No.
cool. It was not
It
fun.
wasn't though.
So I'm thankful that I will never have to play that
Plus,
game again.
the name is
Don't
so
make me.
stupid.
Unicornus Knights
I
is
hate
a
that
dumb
name.
It's a dumb name.
That's dumb. Awesome. Very good. Natalie, what is your number one?
My number one is something that you guys completely disagree with, but I have always felt the same way
okay.
about it. And it's called The Resistance.
Totally fine.
And I feel
wrong.
like
Find you wrong,
Whatever.
but yes.
I don't have to play it again because all these years have gone by and you've never even mentioned.
And that is
playing it
great,
at
at
Nerdfest.
great personal toil for me.
Yeah.
Because that's one of my favorite games ever. Although the reason I'm not so upset about it is we've had our plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff and I have played that game 50 plus
Yeah.
in a night.
In a night,
Basically.
yeah.
We've had some of the best memories, I think. If I were to compile a list of my favorite board gaming memories in games, a couple of them I think would be from Resistance plays that Jeff and I have had together.
Yeah.
One I can remember specifically at your mom's house that I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And there's a bunch of other ones that are very similar. I understand. I wonder, though, if after playing Night of the Ninja, if you might be more open to playing another social deduction game again, and if the Resistance might not
I'm
make you...
not open to social deduction,
Not-
but there's certain ones that I just don't find fun. I just find stressful and
Yeah, I get that.
Have we played the Resistance together? Me and you?
maybe a long
I can't even
time
remember
ago.
when you played it.
Long time ago.
Maybe maybe it was at a Nerdfest or something.
Maybe.
But you would play Night of the Ninja.
I liked
Again?
Night of the
Okay.
Ninja.
Yeah, maybe
actually.
try it one more time. I don't. If you don't like it again, I understand how it stresses you out. I get that, but I would say maybe we try it one more time before
I
we
just
never
said I
play
don't
it
want
again.
to play it again. I just said I'm thankful I don't have to play it again.
Well, you might though.
We might have to. Or you sit
All
by
right,
yourself.
shouldn't be on the list then. I'm just kidding. Okay, fine. I'll play it with Jeff. You can watch us play and be like, oh, they're having so much fun. I want to
Wow,
try
look
that.
How much fun that is.
Number one for me. This might be my most hated game I've ever played. Okay, so Jeff and I
know what
are
this is.
not fans of train themed games. I don't know.
It's
It's
what this
funny. I don't know why we're not. Why it doesn't bother us, but it doesn't. I don't typically care about theme. Typically,
Yeah.
a theme does not really stop me from playing a game. Typically, when I see someone's like, "Oh, this is a theme about a game about trains," it kind of like turns me off. I find nothing fascinating or exciting about the train world
Right.
at all. So, is this game I'm about to talk about even about trains?
I don't know.
There's
Oh,
this
what game
game
are you talking about?
called Age of Industry. Is that about trains? I think it is
It's
kind of
about
right.
industry. It's about the age when
I
industry
think it's
was...
about trains. And it's designed by Martin Wallace. And I could not have been more bored when the rules were explained, but worse than that, I started to play the game. Were you in this
Oh,
play?
yeah. We talked about that last time we
I
played.
started to take my turn, and at least four things in a row that I tried to do, Bill was like, "Nope, can't do that." I was like, "Oh, I'll do this." No, we can't
You
do
were
that.
the
You got to have
jury.
this.
Yeah, he zoned out during
I
the
completely
play.
was just like
During the rules,
I
he
thought
did
I
not
knew what I was
know,
doing,
yeah.
but I had no clue, and I got so mad because I was like, "All right, fine, I'll do this." And he's like, "No, you can't do that. You got to have this first." And I'm like, oh, "Okay, well then I'll do this." He's like, "Well, you can't get that yet because it's not that. It's
Oh
not.
my
the,
God.
It's not the right
I
turn.
can
You
see
can't
you
do that
getting
until turn
so
3."
pissed.
And I was like, "Fine, I'll just play this card." And he's like, "Well, you can't do that because you don't have this resource." And I'm like, "Well, I'll just do this then." He's like, "No, you got to have." And I'm like, "Ah!"
Just tell me what I can do.
Mad.
He did while he was explaining the rules.
And
Ryan,
I hated it so. I hated it so much, and I am so happy that I will never have to play that again. Cause even if I come back to the game group and I'm just like, and Bill's like, "We're gonna play Age of Industry tonight." No, I'm not coming.
Just walk out the
I just
door.
would. No, I would just I'd be like, "I'm not coming."
We've
tonight. I'm
since
sorry.
then we've only played it once,
Really
So
since
in-
then only once.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
and it
that was a
actually
long time
fairly
ago.
recently because he was in his new house, so it was probably a handful of months. ago
Okay,
we played.
and that was brought up that moment.
Yeah, we talked about. We were like, we basically we said, like, all right, Ryan didn't understand anything that needed to be happening.
Nothing.
And just pay attention to these parts because this is where Ryan didn't pay attention. Or something. It was like, but it was just
I
so
hope he
funny.
uses that every time he
Yeah.
teaches it from now on.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was so bad. I made a geek list on Board Game Geek, which you can find, that recounts my step by step how it happened.
you
So
did.
that's my number one. That is. Do you guys have honorable mentions? Again, the last like 5 lists, I've stopped at gone 5 and
just have
stopped.
one.
What is your honorable mentions?
That stupid game Tuburinth.
Oh, Tuberin.
Well, it didn't sell, so you might have to play it again.
I'm not gonna play it. In fact, the first time I played it, I couldn't even play it because I couldn't even
Play it.
do it.
Couldn't even do
A
it.
lot of the reasons I think these games are on our lists, maybe for me anyway, are like I'm just very, very, very bad at them.
Yes.
You know, and So that
They don't make me feel good.
hurts your
So
yeah,
I'm glad
right. I'm
I
glad I
don't
don't have to play it again. Did you have any other Jeff,
Yeah.
or was that it?
I had like Cash and Guns. I really don't want to play
I
anymore.
almost put that on my list.
That's just kind of one that I'm
Yes,
over.
past it.
Just over.
Yeah.
We played the level 7 protocol or whatever. Level 7
Oh
which was
yeah, level
miserable.
7 Omega. No, level 7. I think Omega Protocol is the good
is
one.
like the good one. Yeah.
I'm gonna find it.
Really like a Ticket to Ride game. I think that I will like maybe be forced to play at some point, but really don't want to.
Escape, right? Level 7
Yeah,
Escape.
Escape was the bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, any Ticket to Ride really, or Railways of the World, or those kind of games where I'm just like, "Bleh, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
It just doesn't seem. I don't know. That stuff doesn't seem
Yeah.
fun to me.
There's a
Laying
boring,
train track.
it's a goofy game called Bowling for Zombies. That always
That game
comes up.
sucked.
That game
I
was
remember
just
that
like
game.
play a card and see what happens.
It was
That
kind
like
of
the rules.
funny,
It
but
was
yeah,
funny with
but
how
it-
bad it was.
but
if
it
you were
was
playing with the
bad.
fun group.
Yeah, right. It was all about
because it was like, oh, you played this and you played that, so you win. It's like, well, why? I don't know. Just play another card. Move on.
yeah. Yeah, it was not fun.
I'm scared that I'm going to get that in some white elephant gift or something sometime.
And then you might have to play it again because
Then I
of
might
that.
have to play it again.
Jack's like, "What's this game, Daddy?"
Yeah,
and you're like, "No, son of a bitch!" Oh man! So we are all thankful that we don't ever have to play that shit ever again.
Thankful.
Except maybe the Resistance for Natalie.
Nope.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. So that's going to do it for us tonight, everybody. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Instagram at Gamecasters or at Mad Board Gamer. Both of those accounts service the podcast. We also have a Facebook group. Just search Gamecasters and you'll find us there. You can also email us at thegamecasterspodcast@gmail.com. If you like the show, we'd love it if you consider giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else you listen that allows you to rate us. We've also got a Patreon. If you want to support the show, feel free to head on over to patreon.com/thegamecasters. There's also a merch store where you can find all sorts of different Gamecasters, Mad Board Gamer, Gateway gear. So head on over to thegatewaynetwork.com/store. Please follow me and consider subscribing on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamecasters. So for Natalie and Jeff the Mad Board Gamer, I'm Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody.